The era of Beast Girls begins with a pact with an SSS-Level School Beauty. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 651 The Time Empress's Physical Flaw. Empress Time noticed Xiao Ye's gaze, her body fidgeting, a faint blush rising to her cheeks. She said very solemnly, "Human Emperor, I have truly never had any intimate physical contact with any living being. I am still a virgin, my innocence is undiminished." "Really, Human Emperor, please believe me." Xiao Ye hesitated. "You don't need to explain to me. Why talk to him about this? He and Empress Time had no relation, were they friends?" Empress Time grew anxious. "No, you don't believe me? I can let you check if I am a virgin. It's very important." She knew that human men placed great importance on a woman's virginity. Xiao Ye's expression was strange. What was so important about it? Empress Time wasn't his god. The primordial empress, understanding the Time Empress's intentions, chimed in, "Human Emperor, I can guarantee this. My sister, the Time Empress, is absolutely still a virgin. You can tell just by looking at her face. Moreover, she has never had any contact with any man in the world, not even holding hands. Even I haven't seen her body." Mu Kingsu nodded, seemingly understanding. This Time Empress seemed to have different feelings for Xiao Ye, eager to prove herself. Did the Time Empress also want to become Xiao Ye's god? Mu Kingsu smiled. "Xiao Ye, why don't you check the Time Empress?" The Time Empress extended her small hand, her expression solemn. "Human Emperor, use your divine sense to check. I promise I won't hinder your divine sense probe. I am still a virgin." Xiao Ye grasped the Time Empress's hand, squeezing it. It was soft, as if boneless. He activated the template adjuster's probe function. Time rule origin will condensation defect, limited by blue star and the origin of rules. Advancement in major realms is restricted. Solution, transform the body into the body of a cosmic being that is itself a seed, and transform the will into an independent soul body. Exclusive body transformation massage technique can be extracted. Will body defect, when forcibly breaking through to the star domain realm, the will body is damaged, the will body is unstable, and the realm stagnates, unable to advance even slightly. Solution, use the massage technique to stabilize the disordered will body. The ancestral empress was surprised. The human emperor was holding the Time Empress's small hand like that, as if he were playing with it and taking advantage of it. Empress Time blushed slightly. "Human Emperor, you didn't use your divine sense to examine my body. Facial features can be faked. If you used your divine sense to look at my body, you'd know if I'm a virgin." Xiao Ye released his hand and smiled. "The examination is complete." Empress Time didn't believe him and stubbornly said, "Human Emperor, you don't want to use your divine sense to examine me. You want to look with your eyes, right?" She hesitated for a moment, then said recklessly, "Fine, Human Emperor, I'll strip naked so you can examine me, okay?" With a rustling sound, she began to unbutton her long robe. Xiao Ye hurriedly stopped her, saying, "No need, I believe you are innocent. No need to check." The Time Empress paused, a smile appearing on her face. "Human Emperor, thank you. I'm satisfied with just those words." Xiao Ye sighed. "Time Empress, your body will have flaws. Have you been unable to advance any further in your cultivation over the years, remaining stuck at the star domain realm? I have a way to help you improve these flaws. I can also help you transform your body, turning it into the body of a cosmic being, so your cultivation won't be limited by a blue star or the origin of its rules." The Time Empress was overjoyed. "Really? That's wonderful. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, she and that madwoman on the Starry Sky Prodigy ranking were both at the peak of the Emperor realm. Hundreds of thousands of years have passed, and that madwoman has already reached the Sovereign realm. But she is still at the Star Domain realm. Last time she went to fight that madwoman, she almost didn't make it back. She was killed by that madwoman. Back on Blue Star, she, the Time Empress, was at the Star Domain realm, the strongest being, but in the Starry Sky, she was still a weakling. If she could continue cultivating and leveling up, She would definitely find that crazy woman and fight her, and win. She would let that crazy woman know how powerful she, the Time Empress, was. Xiao Ye nodded and smiled faintly. Really? However, for this body modification, you will need to pay a certain amount. Pay a certain amount? The Time Empress looked at herself. The treasures she possessed were only Star Domain Realm Supreme treasures, which were probably too trash in the eyes of the Sovereign Realm Human Emperor. The Time Empress said with distress, but I don't have an equivalent reward for you. How about I offer myself to you? Her beautiful eyes lit up. Yes, I'll give myself to you. What do you think, Human Emperor? Xiao Ye waved his hand. I don't need you to pay a reward, nor do I need you to offer yourself to me. It's just body modification. I need to give you a full body massage, which will involve deep touching of your body. Do you mind? If you can accept this, I can modify your body. The Time Empress was surprised. That's it? She originally wanted to become the Human Emperor's wife. What's wrong with taking a look and touching him? She tentatively asked. Human Emperor, why don't you just marry me? Xiao Ye quickly waved his hand. You don't need to pay such a high price, just accept a massage. Let's leave here. The Time Empress also wants to be his god? He already has enough beast girls. If another god comes along, Xie Mengxuan and the others will definitely be angry. The golden gate of the time-space hall appeared. Everyone entered the time-space hall. Xiao Ye and the Time Empress entered a small villa. At the door, Xie was talking with the Primordial Empress. Your Majesty, does the Time Empress like Xiao Ye? Maybe. My sister also wants to become the Human Emperor's wife. Sigh, Xiao Ye is too outstanding, even the Time Empress is smitten. Xie, how can my sister become the Human Emperor's wife? The Human Emperor hasn't shown any interest in her. Xiao Ye is just a lecherous little thing, falling for every girl he sees. Maybe he's already wanted to bring the Time Empress into his family, but it'll be difficult for her to become his wife. The Primordial Empress frowned. Xie, is there no way? Xie smiled bitterly. Xiao Ye has to agree first. And even then, it needs the approval of Sister Binxi and the others. That lecherous Xiao Ye is easily swayed, but getting Sister Binxi and the others to agree is a different story. The Time Empress must gain the approval of Sister Binxi and the others. That's the real challenge. The Primordial Empress nodded. Gaining the approval of the Human Emperor and the other beast girls, that depends on the Time Empress's efforts. Xie, what about you? Do you acknowledge my sister? Xie was stunned. I guess so. The Primordial Empress smiled. If you can acknowledge her, the other beast girls should be able to as well. Inside the villa, in the bedroom, Xiao Ye pointed to the bathroom and said, Empress of Time, go in and take a good shower. Wash yourself thoroughly, inside and out. Otherwise, you might feel awkward later. The Empress of Time grabbed the towel, nodded, and went into the bathroom. Xiao Ye listened to the rushing water, but his heart remained calm. Chapter 652 Solving the Time Empress's Physical Flaws. Perhaps he used to be tempted and yearn for women, but after experiencing so many beast girls and deities, his immunity to them had greatly increased. Now, Xiao Ye could remain unmoved even if Mount Tai collapsed before him, and unfazed even if a stunning woman performed a striptease. What surprised him was why the Time Empress also wanted to be his wife. He could tell from her previous offer of herself that she was sincere and genuinely wanted to be his wife. But why? In his past life there were gold diggers, and in this life there are women who climb the social ladder. Was the Time Empress a woman who climbed the social ladder? He was now the strongest on Blue Star, the strongest in the beast hunting star field, a powerful figure on Blue Star, standing at the very top of the Blue Star pyramid. Backed by the Grand Elder of the Cosmic Will Condensation Academy, his background was terrifyingly powerful. But at least the Time Empress is an ancient deity from Blue Star, detached from the mortal world, standing above humanity, unpolluted by its filth. Her personality and worldview shouldn't be so worldly and base. The Time Empress and Xie resemble each other, but their temperaments differ slightly. Even after advancing to the sovereign realm, Xie still retains the air of a spoiled, arrogant young lady. The Time Empress, on the other hand, is ethereal, otherworldly, a goddess who seems untouchable and unapproachable. Xiao Ye pondered in the living room. In the bathroom, the Time Empress had finished washing and stood before the full-length mirror, staring blankly at her slender, fair body. Her skin was like jade, her bones like ice. Her small face possessed exquisite features, but her beautiful eyes, as pure as autumn water, revealed a deep sorrow. Her beautiful eyebrows furrowed slightly, a faint melancholy rising to her heart, her expression pitiful, making one want to hold her in their arms and gently comfort her. Sigh, the human emperor has absolutely no interest in me. What should I do? The ancestral empress is now the human emperor's wife, he probably doesn't care about gods anymore. She casually rolled a large white towel around her body, revealing her delicate, fair shoulders and a pair of long, shapely, and voluptuous legs. Barefoot, she lightly stepped onto the floor and walked into the living room, standing gracefully before Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye smiled faintly. You're ready. Let's begin. The transformation of the body is a seed, the cosmic Holy Spirit technique. After the transformation, your mythical level talent will remain, but your will to the rules will be transformed into a soul body, independent of the origin of the rules and blue star. The Time Empress nodded and followed Xiao Ye into the bedroom. Inside, the decor was fresh and elegant. The bed, curtains, wardrobe, dressing table, and other items were neatly arranged in every corner of the room. Xiao Ye smiled and said, your brows are furrowed. Is something troubling you? Perhaps you can tell me, and I'll help you resolve your doubts. When modifying your body, you must maintain a calm mind, otherwise the modification may not be effective. The Time Empress tossed her long, black hair, its light strands exuding a faint fragrance, falling onto her delicate, fair shoulders and back. She tossed aside the towel, revealing her beautiful body completely to Xiao Ye's gaze. She lay there gracefully and elegantly. She said with a troubled expression, I recently wanted to marry someone, but that person is ungrateful and has rejected me several times. Human Emperor, what should I do to win his favor? Gulp. Xiao Ye instantly realized he still couldn't remain calm even if Mount Tai collapsed before him, his emotion stirred. The Time Empress's words, coupled with the beautiful scenery before him, stirred his heart. Her words were tantamount to confession. Ahem. Xiao Ye feigned surprise and asked, Time Empress, who do you want to marry? He guessed that the Time Empress was referring to him, Xiao Ye, but he wasn't quite sure. The Time Empress blushed slightly, like a young girl in love, and said shyly, that person is far away, yet so close at hand. I've shown him everything, yet he shows me no interest whatsoever. Alice, when did I, the Time Empress, lose all my charm? Xiao Ye's pupils contracted. The person the Time Empress was referring to was actually him, Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye looked at the Time Empress without flinching, and she didn't stop him, probing, Time Empress, why do you want to marry him? Is it because you love him, or are you after his beauty, or are you selling your body and your life for personal gain? Carefully observing everything about the Time Empress, he suddenly realized that she wasn't entirely the same as Mu Kingsu. There were differences in certain physical details. Especially that ethereal, otherworldly aura, so captivating. The Time Empress was stunned by his words. Love? Did she love the human emperor? She didn't know what love was. Perhaps she did, perhaps she didn't. But to be after the human emperor's beauty? She shook her head. She wasn't obsessed with looks. Excluding those 2 points, only one remains. The Time Empress, however, cheerfully stated, me? I'm after his future. His future is so bright, he can take his whole family to new heights, and I also want to ride the wind, soar to the heavens, look down upon the brilliance of the universe, and enjoy the feeling of being on top of the world. But I will only recognize one man in my life. I won't be attracted to one man today and another tomorrow just because I admire power. Now that I've chosen a man, that will never change. Even if his future isn't as promising as I envision, and he falls on hard times, I will still steadfastly follow him and support him. In the Time Empress's view, admiring power is not worldly or lowly. She won't hide it. She admires power. She wants to be associated with someone powerful, and she won't go around saying anything else. After speaking, the Time Empress's expression relaxed, and her worries lessened considerably. Xiao Ye, however, frowned. What's the difference between this Time Empress and a gold digger? This gold digger, however, is a pure gold digger, a gold digger who only acknowledges one man in his life. But in essence, she's still a gold digger. Xiao Ye's innate sense of gold diggers is somewhat poor. Let's begin the body modification. I need to mentally rehearse your exclusive massage modification technique, so I need to observe you first. I hope you don't mind. His star-like eyes constantly scanned the Time Empress from head to toe. That gaze was like a pair of large hands, meticulously exploring every part of her. The Time Empress, however, didn't feel embarrassed or awkward. She had already decided on the human emperor. Whether or not the human emperor would marry her, she would belong to the human emperor for life. So, she simply did a split, allowing the human emperor to fully appreciate it while he calmly deduced the technique. After the split, she did a starfish position. After the starfish position, she did a full prostration. Xiao Ye's gaze was blank. Damn, what is the Time Empress doing? Is she doing a dance? Time ticked by, and Xiao Ye stood a short distance away, admiring the scene while mentally rehearsing the Time Empress's exclusive body-modifying massage technique extracted from the template adjuster. The Time Empress, meanwhile, tirelessly displayed herself, revealing every inch of herself to Xiao Ye, attempting to make him understand every corner of her. Half an hour later, Xiao Ye said, "Stop, that's enough. The technique derivation is complete, you can start now." The Time Empress and Mu Qingsu are truly different. Mu Qingsu would never know these things, the two were completely different. Chapter 653 The transformation of her body is complete, and the delighted Empress of Time. Different experiences, different memories, and different personalities. No two beings are exactly alike. The Time Empress, Mu Qingsu, is different. The Time Empress obediently lay down, saying sweetly, "Human Emperor, go ahead. Whether rough or gentle, I can handle it." Xiao Ye nodded, stepped forward, and began to work directly. The body-modifying massage technique was combined with the template adjuster. He was merely an assistant, the modification primarily thanks to the template adjuster. But this assistance was also crucial, as the template adjuster couldn't directly modify the body. His rough, large hands held two delicate, white jade feet, cradling them as if they were works of art, perfectly sculpted pieces exuding a pleasant fragrance. They felt slightly cool and smooth. How could a god's feet smell bad? They were even more fragrant than the finest dishes prepared by a national chef. If he could take a bite, the taste would be absolutely divine. Cough cough, Xiao Ye shook his head, banishing these thoughts from his mind. Empress Time looked worried. "Human Emperor, humans say feet shouldn't be touched lightly. I'll feel guilty if your hands get athlete's foot." Although I don't have athlete's foot, Xiao Ye comforted her while stimulating acupoints on her feet. "You're overthinking it. Your feet smell better than roasted pig's trotters. Oops, I mean, they have a faint, pleasant fragrance. They don't smell bad. How could my hands get athlete's foot? Just bear with it." Stimulating acupoints in traditional Chinese medicine is painful. If you want to scream, go ahead. I won't laugh at you. Empress Time was delighted. The human emperor said her feet smelled wonderful. But suddenly, an unprecedented sharp pain came, accompanied by a tingling sensation. "Ugh, it hurts, but it feels so good." Empress Time cried out. Xiao Ye was taken aback. She actually screamed. This Empress Time was truly different. When modifying the bodies of the primordial Empress and the god of reincarnation, they tried their best to suppress their screams, afraid of embarrassment and shyness. But the Time Empress, frank and straightforward, cried out. Seeing him pause, she asked in confusion, "Human Emperor, please continue. Don't worry about my feelings. I'm obedient," I cried out when it hurts. Crying out a couple of times really does distract me, and I feel much better. Xiao Ye scratched his head. Okay. Since the Time Empress didn't feel embarrassed, why should he overthink it? He could just keep going. So, he moved very quickly, using rubbing, pricking, hammering, kneading, pressing, and stroking techniques to rapidly stimulate the acupoints on her feet, using the power of the template adjuster to modify her body. Plus 10 The Time Empress was indeed very frank, crying out without any shame. Her 10 round, small, white toes were all clenched tightly. Xiao Ye understood that the pain of modifying the body was more intense than being cut into pieces, and it was already very impressive that the Time Empress could endure it. However, the tightly clenched toes hindered his massage. He roughly pried open her 10 toes with his large, rough hands, saying, "Empress of Time, you're so strong. Relax, or I'll be forced to stop the modification. The modification can't stop midway. Once you stop, your body will be half crippled." Empress of Time panicked, enduring the excruciating pain to relax. Her tightly clenched toes gradually loosened. Xiao Ye smiled. His approach becoming gentler, unlike his previous direct and crude manner. Half an hour passed, and the foot modification was finally complete. Empress of Time, this is done. Next are the legs, then the hands, the torso, and finally the head. I'll try to go slowly to lessen your pain, but it might take longer. Empress of Time nodded, no problem. Then, Xiao Ye slowly and steadily modified her body, the template adjuster continuously supplying power. Legs, hands, forbidden area. An hour passed, and Xiao Ye, covered in sweat, wiped his forehead, leaving a faint, ethereal fragrance. Surprisingly, it smelled quite nice, so he sniffed it a few more times. Finally, they reached the last step, the head. Walking to the Time Empress's small head, he breathed a sigh of relief and said, "The head is the most crucial step. It requires transforming your soul, body and sea of consciousness, as well as stabilizing your time origin. The pain it brings will be the most intense. I'll try to be slow, but you have to hold on." The Time Empress looked at Xiao Ye, who was covered in sweat, and a hint of emotion appeared in her eyes. She said softly, "I will hold on. On the contrary, you, human emperor, look at how exhausted you are. You're the one who's most tired. Do you need to rest for a while before continuing to transform my body?" Xiao Ye shook his head. "No, the transformation can't be stopped halfway, otherwise your body will be ruined. Let's continue. If you can hold on, I can hold on too." The Time Empress nodded, took out a handkerchief, and carefully wiped his sweat from his face. Then, a pair of pure eyes quietly gazed at Xiao Ye's handsome face, and softly said, "Human Emperor, let's begin." Xiao Ye began. This face was incredibly tender and smooth. It seemed as if you could squeeze water out of it. There were many acupoints on the head, requiring utmost care and caution. He was extremely focused, not thinking of anything else, concentrating entirely on stimulating the Time Empress's acupoints, using the supreme power of the template adjuster to reshape the head. The Time Empress's eyes were fixed on Xiao Ye's face, and she made a sound. Xiao Ye almost lost focus, but fortunately, his will was strong enough that he wasn't distracted. And so, time slowly passed, and an hour went by. Xiao Ye clapped his hands, shaking off the water, and slumped into the chair beside him, laughing. "Empress of Time, congratulations. Your body has been perfectly transformed into the body of a cosmic being that serves as a seed. From now on, you will no longer be restricted by a blue star or the origin of its rules, and your cultivation level will no longer stagnate due to the instability of your will. Of course, you must be careful to cherish and protect this body, especially the integrity of your soul, otherwise, if you die, you will truly die." The Empress of Time's excruciating pain vanished, replaced by complete comfort. She braced herself with her hands and landed lightly on the ground. Standing before the full-length mirror, she spread her arms, carefully examining herself, becoming increasingly satisfied and happy with each look. She walked up to Xiao Ye, bowed, and said gratefully, "Your Majesty, thank you very much. I don't have enough money to pay you right now, but I will definitely pay you when I have the means. If you want me, I can offer myself to you." Xiao Ye quickly waved his hand, saying, "No need for payment. You saved Huang Fu's angling before. That's enough. As for offering myself to you," a bitter smile appeared on his lips. "Let's forget about that. But if you insist on offering yourself, even if I have feelings for you, it won't work. I'll have to see what Binxie and the other beast girls think." The Time Empress's beautiful eyes lit up, her smile blooming like a flower, and she exclaimed in surprise, "Your Majesty, you have feelings for me?" Xiao Ye blushed. If he hadn't before the massage, now he felt a tiny bit of lust for her body. "Ahem, you've just had your body modified, go familiarize yourself with it first. Ask me if you don't understand anything, and I'll answer your questions," he said, his gaze darting away. "At least put on some clothes first." At this moment, he knew her body better than the Time Empress herself. Empress Time's beautiful eyes grew brighter and brighter, practically glowing. "I understand. I will try my best to gain the approval of the Beast Girls like Ice Tide. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 654 Sister Binxie's opinion is the most important. The Time Empress spread her arms, displaying her voluptuous figure with a smile. "Human Emperor, am I beautiful?" "Beautiful, you're a young lady, aren't you ashamed to be naked?" Xiao Ye felt he couldn't stay in the bedroom any longer and fled outside. The Time Empress had infuriated him. He wanted to punch her. Outside, he saw the Primordial Empress and Mu Kingsu chatting. Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. Kingsu, you've come at the right time. I have something important to discuss with you. And I'd like to spar with you a bit. He pulled Mu Kingsu along and hurriedly entered the empty villa next door. Soon, the sounds of a fierce battle erupted from the villa. It seemed Xiao Ye was gaining the upper hand. The Primordial Empress's face was blank. Why did the human emperor choose Mu Kingsu over her? Could it be that she, the Primordial Empress, wasn't as attractive as Mu Kingsu? 10 minutes later, the Time Empress, clad in a form-fitting ancient robe adorned with runes, gracefully emerged from the villa behind the Primordial Empress, her beautiful face beaming with joy and excitement. The Primordial Empress's pupils constricted. Sister, you're even more beautiful now. Your aura is even more ethereal. Your skin is so supple and radiant. She pinched the Time Empress's hand, only to be angrily slapped away. Don't pinch me. You're not a human emperor. The Primordial Empress was stunned. That graceful figure, that spring-like expression, she knew why the human emperor had sought out Mu Kingsu. The Primordial Empress retorted, Sister, the human emperor isn't interested in you. Even if you want him to pinch you, he won't even notice you. The human emperor has Mu Kingsu. The Time Empress proudly declared, Who said the human emperor doesn't like me? The human emperor even confessed his feelings to me personally. He also told me to try my best to gain the approval and recognition of those beast girls. The Primordial Empress was astonished. My sister, the Time Empress, is so powerful. She made the emperor fall for her after just one massage, the Primordial Empress asked curiously. The Time Empress boasted, He said he had feelings for me, that he was lusting after my body. The Primordial Empress. Her lips twitched. This wasn't a confession, it was lust at first sight. The Time Empress waved her hand, her eyes filled with longing, and asked, Your Majesty, how did you gain the Emperor's approval from those beast girls? The Emperor said he could only marry me after gaining their approval. The Primordial Empress scratched her head. I didn't put in much effort in that regard, not even a single thing. It was my eldest sister, Chang Bingxi, who is magnanimous and accepted me. That's how the beast girls gradually accepted me. Ah! The Time Empress was stunned. What should she do? The Primordial Empress laughed, Sister, don't be discouraged. Your advantages might even be greater than mine. First of all, you saved Huangfu Xiangling's life back in the realm of rules by using time reversal. Huangfu Xiangling and her master, Ziren, are definitely very grateful to you, and those two beast girls will certainly approve of you. Gu Qingcheng, the goddess of destiny, Ziren, Yunbing, and Yunzai are best friends. As long as Ziren approves of you, they will most likely approve of you too. Qinzir and Huangfu Xiangling have a very good relationship, and Qinzir might also approve of you. Mu Kingsu goes without saying, she will definitely approve of you. Upon hearing this, the Time Empress's captivating eyes grew brighter and brighter, until finally they shone dazzlingly, reflecting a brilliant light. Empress Time was overjoyed. So, the human emperor can just marry me directly, and all these beast girls will approve of me. The Primordial Empress poured cold water on her excitement, saying, Don't be so happy yet. The approval of these beast girls is secondary. Even if most of the beast girls approve of you, you might not become the human emperor's wife. Huh? Empress Time was dumbfounded. Why? The Primordial Empress pointed to the Grand Hall and cautiously said, Above us, there's a big sister, the human emperor's empress, Chang Bingxi. Sister Bingxi has zero power. Unless you can't gain Sister Bingxi's approval, the human emperor won't dare marry you. Empress Time was shocked. These beast girls were all under Sister Chang Bingxi's jurisdiction. The human emperor was actually a henpecked husband. It seemed that whether she could marry the human emperor depended on finding a breakthrough with Sister Chang Bingxi. Whoosh! A divine thought flew in from the sky. After receiving it, the Primordial Empress's expression changed, becoming extremely delighted. Sister Bingxi sent a letter, something big is about to happen. She's preparing for the wedding, making sure the emperor has a grand and magnificent wedding, marrying Huangfu Xiangling and me as his two brides. She wants me to go back to Blue Star to get ready and check out the wedding house. Sorry, sister, I'm getting married. You'll have to figure out what to do yourself. The ancestral empress waved her hand, opened the golden light gate, jumped inside, and left the Hall of Time and Space. The Time Empress's face was full of envy as she sighed. Sister Bingxi is truly a good woman at managing a large family. The Emperor is still fighting here, and she's already taking care of everything for him. This leader deserves respect and support. Time slowly passed, and 3 days and 3 nights went by in the Hall of Time and Space. The Time Empress didn't wander around the Hall of Time and Space, she just sat in the small pavilion outside the villa. Inside the Hall of Time and Space, the time attribute time-related rules of the Sovereign Realm, Star Domain Realm, and Emperor Realm were awakened. She could feel the rich and advanced time-related power of this world. After meditating for 3 days and 3 nights, her cultivation level directly broke through to the 5th level of the Star Domain Realm. This overjoyed her. Having stagnated at the 4th level of the Star Domain Realm for hundreds of thousands of years, she had finally made progress. If she could continue cultivating in the Hall of Time and Space, she felt she could break through to the 10th level of the Sovereign Realm. This further solidified her determination to marry the human emperor. She definitely had to cling to such a strong and powerful figure. Just then, Xiao Ye led the trembling Mu Qingsu out. Mu Qingsu rolled her eyes and complained, "Xiao Ye, you weren't this thirsty before. Now you've become like a beast. I can't handle it all by myself." Xiao Ye said confidently, "It's alright, there are other beast girls here. They'll share the burden." The Time Empress exited her cultivation state and came closer, her beautiful eyes fixed on the two of them. She said, "Human Emperor, you can come to me. I can also share the burden with you." "Qingsu, what do you think?" Mu Qingsu suddenly understood the moment she saw her. No wonder Xiao Ye had become so ruthless, it was because of the Time Empress. After her body was modified, the Time Empress's aura became even more ethereal and otherworldly, her skin even more delicate, and especially her eyes, filled with honesty and straightforwardness. This created a stark contrast with her spoiled and willful nature as a proud young lady. Mu Qingsu said softly, "I don't object to Xiao Ye wanting to see you, but I suggest you don't act rashly. You must first inform Sister Binxi before you can do what you want. Acting first and then informing later doesn't work here." The Time Empress was quite pleased. Mu Qingsu's words meant that Mu Qingsu didn't reject her. Xiao Ye smiled wryly, "What is that little brat Binxi doing now? She wants me to hurry back to entertain the guests?" Chapter 655 The Dean attends the wedding. The Time Empress explained, "Human Emperor, Sister Binxi is arranging your wedding, to marry Huangfu Xiangling and the Ancestral Empress. She says she wants to make it a grand affair, inviting guests from all over the world." Mu Qingsu and Xiao Ye nodded, understanding. But Xiao Ye suddenly frowned. Huangfu Xiangling's background was actually very good. She came from the city lord's mansion in the imperial capital base city and was the illegitimate daughter of Huangfu Qingshan, the city lord of the imperial capital. However, her mother died in childbirth. Huangfu Xiangling's status as an illegitimate daughter led to her being ostracized by everyone in the Huangfu family. Even Huangfu Qingshan never gave her a kind look. In the end, he even expelled Huangfu Xiangling from the family. Huangfu Xiangling's childhood was terrible, lacking both maternal and paternal love. If Ziran hadn't taken her in as a disciple, Huangfu Xiangling might not have lived past the age of 10. Huangfu Xiangling used to be extremely averse to men and was gay, which was also closely related to her childhood experiences. Xiao Ye briefly recounted Huangfu Xiangling's experiences, causing the Time Empress and Mu Qingsu's expressions to change drastically. The two women gritted their teeth, saying, "To give birth and not raise a child is unworthy of being a father. I'm afraid I'll have to make a move on the Huangfu family. Arrest Huangfu Qingshan and make him kneel before Xiangling and kowtow in apology." The Time Empress and Mu Qingsu exchanged a glance, their minds in perfect harmony, and said, "Let's go together." Mu Qingsu opened the golden portal, and the two entered, leaving the time-space hall. Xiao Ye's expression was solemn. "I truly must give Xiangling a happy wedding. She lacked love her whole life, so I will give her love. As for the Huangfu family, it depends on their attitude. If their attitude is hostile, then this family has no reason to exist." Before leaving the time-space hall, he adjusted the time within it to the level of the Dominator Realm. In the Star Domain Realm, the time difference between the time-space hall and Blue Star is 280,000 years to 1 day. The Dominator Realm can adjust the time difference to 2.8 million years to 1 day on Blue Star. After completing all this, Xiao Ye then activated the core of the time-space hall, allowing the rule origin of the Sovereign Realm to absorb and fuse with the rule origin of the Star Domain Realm and Emperor Realm. This included attributes such as space, time, illusion, supreme, life, destruction, reincarnation, auspiciousness, curse, 5 elements, thunder, ice, and more. The rule origin was originally a unified entity, but the time-space hall divided it into different levels, facilitating the awakening and absorption of corresponding attribute origins by the Beast Girl. After completing this, Xiao Ye exited the time-space hall through the Golden Light Gate and arrived in the Wilderness Space City. The wedding arrangements were complete in the main square of the City Lord's mansion. At this time, Wilderness Space City was a gathering place for various important figures from the Dragon Kingdom. Almost all the City Lords of the base cities had come to the Wilderness Space City Lord's mansion to attend the wedding. This was at Chang Bingxi's behest. The Dragon Kingdom was currently protected by the World Tree, thus avoiding being corrupted and infected by the decaying Taoist aura of the Desolate Realm. Heeding the advice of the progenitor Empress, she decided to announce Xiao Ye's identity as the human emperor during the wedding, forcing all the base cities of the Dragon Kingdom to submit. In the main hall, city lords from various top-tier base cities were present, including those from Shanghai, Nanjing, Hangzhou, and others, as well as Huang Fudun, the young lord of the capital. Yi Fan, the red-haired young master of the Yi family, was also there. The city lords of Qintai and other top-tier base cities gathered together, chatting happily. Yi Fan, meanwhile, chatted arm in arm with Huang Fudun. "Brother Huangfu, is your younger sister one of the brides at this wedding? What are your thoughts?" "HMPH, she's not my younger sister. Huangfu's Yangling was expelled from the family long ago." "Hiss, then how did you receive an invitation?" "I can come whenever I want. Why would I need an invitation? Even if Huangfu's Yangling is someone expelled and abandoned by my Huangfu family, anyone from Mangyeong Base City who wants to marry her must have the consent of our Huangfu family." "Holy crap, are you trying to cause trouble at the wedding?" "Not at all. That towering tree in Mangyeong Base City protects the Dragon Kingdom. I've come to investigate its origins and why it's in Mangyeong Base City instead of our Dragon Kingdom's capital." Red-haired Yi Fan immediately became alert. "Brother Huangfu, could the Huangfu family be eyeing that towering ancient tree?" Huangfu Dun sneered twice, offering no reply. Red-haired Yi Fan's hair stood on end, and he quickly moved away from Huangfu Dun. The Huangfu family is incredibly audacious, daring to covet such a colossal, towering demonic plant. Don't they know the meaning of death? For Mangyeong Base City to possess such a treasured demonic plant, there must be a powerful figure behind them. Nangguang Kitao and his wife, along with Cheng Kik and his wife, were chatting happily with the city lords of top-tier base cities like Qintai. They addressed each other as father-in-law and mother-in-law. Mu Qingsu and Qin Ziter, the daughters of the city lords of Modu and Jinling respectively, were both Xiao Ye's beast girls. Red-haired Yi Fan watched from behind, but felt no jealousy. He simply lowered his head and drank his tea silently. He had 10 fiancées, several of whom had been snatched away by Xiao Ye. Now, he was still single, having attended several of Xiao Ye's weddings. The brides were all stunningly beautiful beast girls he had been betrothed to as a child but had never met before. "Ladies and gentlemen, the wedding is about to begin. Please follow me to the wedding venue," Nangguang Kitao announced, standing up after receiving the message. The city lords of base cities large and small rushed forward, following Nangguang Kitao into the wedding venue. At the center was a crystal-clear platform, with rows of seats for the audience. The arrogant Huangfu Dun followed Yi Fan in, gasping in astonishment, saying, "This platform actually exudes the aura of the origin of rules. These seats are actually made of dragon crystal. These decorations all flow with the power of rules related to devouring and special attributes. Such extravagance." Yi Fan's eyes widened in shock, and he quickly moved away from Huangfu Dun. He was even more certain of his suspicions. The Mangyeong Base City possessed a powerful being with extraordinary abilities. The power of rules could be mastered by a Saint Realm expert, and the power of origin could be manipulated by a quasi-Emperor Realm expert, but such a rich and profound high-level origin of rules could only be condensed and crafted at will by a legendary Great Emperor. This Huangfu Dun actually dared to covet that treasure plant that protected the Dragon Kingdom. Had he lost his mind? The MC, dressed in a black suit and holding a microphone, announced, "Distinguished guests, please take your seats. Parents, please take your seats as well." The city lords of various base cities, large and small, sat on chairs crafted from emperor-level origin crystals, instantly becoming more energetic and lighter. Cheng Bingxi and Ziran, along with the more than 10 beast girls, sat in the parents' section at the back of the platform. Nangguang Kitao and the others sat in the guest seats. Sitting is complete. Please welcome the bride and groom, the MC announced with a smile. Wait. At this moment, an aged but deep voice echoed from the sky. A hunched-over old man with white hair and a face full of wrinkles appeared on the platform. Cheng Bingxi jumped up, exclaiming in surprise, Grandpa Dean, you've arrived? Please take your seats. The old man was indeed Grandpa Dean. He smiled kindly, nodded, and took his seat in the parents' section at the back of the platform. The god of destiny was startled and somewhat reserved. This person is the embodiment of the will of the universe, and my husband's elder. The old Dean said, the wedding will continue. Chapter 656. The bride and groom are actually the great emperor. Mu Qingxing's father, Mu Dingshan, Qin Zier's father, Qin Tai, and the city lords of various base cities in the Dragon Kingdom all turned their gazes towards the Dean. This was the elder who could cultivate a prodigy like Xiao Ye. This man was hunched over, with white hair and a face covered in wrinkles, and his smile resembled a blooming chrysanthemum. Outwardly, he looked no different from an ordinary old man, with no energy fluctuations emanating from him, yet he could appear out of nowhere. Even though they were Supreme Realm and Saint Realm experts, they could not detect the slightest abnormality in this old man. This old man was no ordinary person. All the important figures wore solemn expressions, regarding the Dean as someone stronger than themselves. The host smiled and gestured to the Dean, then announced, next, please welcome the groom, Xiao Ye, and the two brides, Huangfu Xiangling and the ancestral empress. Suddenly, heavenly flowers rained down, and celestial blossoms bloomed everywhere. The origins of special rules and the origins of devouring rules were reflected in this world. A double happiness red carpet, formed from the crystallization of special origin and the crystallization of devouring origin, stretched down from the entrance of the square, covering the ground and leading all the way to the high platform. Everyone present was shocked. Holy crap, the origin crystals move with her, and the origin of rules reflects her. These two brides have reached the peak of the quasi-emperor realm? The peak of the quasi-emperor realm? Probably more than that. To be reflected by the origin of rules, one must at least be a legendary emperor realm expert. Hiss. The two brides are at least at the peak of the quasi-emperor realm, or even legendary great emperors. Those are great emperors. They were unseen even in ancient times, and now we've actually seen two. This is a great emperor. Even my ancestor, at the peak of the quasi-emperor realm, couldn't be reflected by the origin of rules. Even the city lords of these base cities, holding high positions, were instantly moved at this moment. They all stood up and bowed in welcome. With great emperors in front of them, who would dare to remain seated? Red-haired Yi Fan's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets in astonishment. Huangfu Xiangling was actually at the peak of the quasi-emperor realm, or even a legendary great emperor? Even Yi's ancestor wasn't at the peak of the quasi-emperor realm. She, a young woman in her early 20s, was terrifyingly powerful. Even Huangfu Dun, the young master of the Huangfu family, was utterly shocked. He stood up, clasped his hands in a deep bow, his head bowed low as if afraid of being seen. An emperor. Absolutely a legendary emperor. Recently, all members of the Huangfu family had advanced in rank, including Huangfu Dun himself, whose talent had reached a quasi-mythical level. The Huangfu family initially thought it was their ancestor who had ascended to the emperor level, but the ancestor declared it wasn't him, but someone else from the Huangfu family. It turned out to be Huangfu Xiangling, the illegitimate daughter who had been expelled from the family. This news had to be communicated to the family immediately. Huangfu Xiangling was an emperor. Everyone lowered their heads, not daring to look directly at the emperor. On the red carpet, Xiao Ye, with his left hand holding the ancestral empress in a red phoenix robe and his right hand holding the white-haired girl with twin ponytails and a bright red wedding dress, walked step by step towards the high platform. As the three figures passed the rows of guest seats, the city lords of base cities across the country bowed more and more respectfully, their postures becoming increasingly reserved, until finally bending to a 90-degree angle. Stepping onto the high platform, the host stammered, Junior Yang Qingfang welcomes the great emperor. Xiao Ye waved his hand, and a wave of power swept out, straightening everyone present. He said softly, today is a grand wedding, you don't need to be so formal. All who come are guests, just treat this wedding as an ordinary one. His voice was calm, yet it resonated in everyone's ears. Above, Various elemental crystal flowers of rules, carrying a faint fragrance, fell from the sky, landing in every corner of the wedding venue. Everyone present widened their eyes, their expressions filled with shock. The flowers falling from the sky were elemental crystal flowers of the 5 elements: lightning, illusion, time, space, reincarnation, destruction, life, auspiciousness, and curse, almost all elemental crystal flowers of rules. Various elemental crystals of the rules origins shimmered in the air, transforming the wedding venue into paradise, overflowing with the power of these elemental forces. With a series of booming sounds, the cultivation levels of most attendees skyrocketed. Those at the Supreme Realm rose directly to the Quasi-Saint Realm, those at the Quasi-Saint Realm rose directly to the Saint Realm, and those at the Saint Realm rose directly to the Quasi-Emperor Realm. Hiss! Everyone gasped, utterly astonished. After a long pause, everyone present clasped their hands in respectful gratitude, saying, "Thank you for the Emperor's blessing. We are deeply honored to attend the Emperor's wedding. Your Majesty, Yifan kowtows to you." Qin Tai, Mudingshan, and several of Xiao Ye's parents-in-law also clasped their hands in thanks. Their bloodlines had already advanced to the quasi-mythical level, and now, with the Emperor's blessing, their Supreme Realm cultivation had directly broken through to the Saint Realm. On the high platform, Xiao Ye stood tall and imposing, his aura profound and deep. He bowed and said, "The wedding will proceed as planned." He gave the host a meaningful look. The host, having broken through to the Supreme Realm, was brimming with enthusiasm, politely smiling as he announced, "Today, Emperor Xiao Ye marries Empress Huangfu Xiangling and Empress Ancestral Queen. We now proceed to the salute to heaven and earth." The bride and groom bow to heaven and earth. The handsome, almost otherworldly Xiao Ye smiled, and together with Huangfu Xiangling and the Ancestral Queen, faced heaven and earth, bowing once. They didn't mobilize their own inherent power, so no unusual phenomena occurred in the heavens and earth. However, those in the guest seats felt their eyelids twitch. Could heaven and earth withstand the bows of 3 great emperors? Fortunately, nothing unusual happened, otherwise, even Blue Star wouldn't be able to withstand the bows of a sovereign realm expert. After the bows, the host continued with a smile, "The bride and groom bow to their parents." Xiao Ye, Huangfu Xiangling, and the Ancestral Queen turned to face the Dean, Ziran, Cheng Bingxi, and the other beast girls. They gave a shallow bow. The Dean grinned broadly, his missing tooth adding to the comical effect. Ziran's face lit up with joy. Xiangling's past was tragic, but now she was happily entering the hall of marriage with Xiao Ye, a wonderful thing. Cheng Bingxi nodded with a smile. The group of beast girls responded with smiles. Xiao Ye's pupils shrank. How did this toothless old man appear? Damn it! He was in such a hurry to release the Desolate Realm, and he hadn't even explained the origin of the Desolate Realm, the purpose of releasing it, or its relationship with the World Tree. No, he had to ask him clearly after the wedding. Oh, he'd ask him clearly tomorrow after the wedding night. The Desolate Realm was nothing compared to the wedding night. The host smiled and said, "The bride and groom bow to each other and exchange wedding tokens." Xiao Ye came back to his senses and met the eyes of Huangfu Xiangling, who was grinning foolishly with her teeth showing, and the primordial empress, who was smiling faintly with a joyful heart. He bowed to the 2 beautiful women. 2 black and gold rings appeared on his hands. They were special rings made from the crystallization of the sovereign realm's origin, rings with many functions. Xiao Ye placed the rings on the slender fingers of Huangfu Xiangling and the first empress. He, in turn, received a pink necklace and a gold ring. Chapter 657 The bride and groom enter the bridal chamber. After watching the bride and groom exchange their wedding tokens, Xiao Ye's lips curled into a smile. A kiss? Huangfu Xiangling and the first empress exchanged glances and secretly conferred. "Empress, you go first." "No, Xiangling, you go first." Xiao Ye, seeing the 2 stunningly beautiful brides hesitating, stepped forward, embraced their heads, and kissed them both at once. A fleeting touch, like a dragonfly skimming the water. The 2 women blushed crimson, giving him a shy, glaring look. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, he was being so unreliable. He actually kissed both of them at the same time. The MC's expression turned serious. Next, we'll move on to the bride and groom's vows. Bride Huangfu Xiangling, regardless of whether your groom Xiao Ye is poor or rich now or in the future, are you willing to follow him, cultivate together, grow together, and fight together? Huangfu Xiangling's face was resolute, I do. The MC continued, bride, the ancestor empress, regardless of whether your groom Xiao Ye is poor or rich now or in the future, are you willing to follow him, cultivate together, grow together, and fight together? Empress Huangfu said, I do. They raised their hands and swore, no matter what happens in the future, we are willing to follow Xiao Ye, cultivate together, grow together, and fight together. In the guest seats, some women looked on with envy. Marrying a great emperor meant a bright future, a meteoric rise. Standing at the pinnacle of Earth's power structure, they could watch the world change. The world order was about to change. No, it had already changed. The men in the guest seats looked at Xiao Ye with envy. Two stunningly beautiful great emperors marrying him at the same time, they must have saved the galaxy in their past lives. The two brides, not only stunningly beautiful and exceptionally talented, but also great emperors, were willing to submit to a man, even though he was also a great emperor. The MC asked, groom Xiao Ye, regardless of whether the brides, Huangfu Xiangling and the ancestor empress, are beautiful or not, are you willing to fight alongside them, grow alongside them, and cultivate alongside them? Xiao Ye calmly looked at the two women, whose eyes were filled with anticipation. He softly said, I do. Xiao Ye, swear that no matter if your appearances change, no matter your cultivation levels, no matter what happens, I am willing to cultivate alongside you, fight alongside you, and grow alongside you. Upon receiving the answer, Huangfu Xiangling and the ancestor empress were overjoyed, their eyes crinkling with smiles. Both women loved Xiao Ye, not for his future or his background, but simply because they were moved and wanted to be with him. Perhaps the ancestor empress had previously wanted to marry Xiao Ye for other reasons, but now, moved by his love, she only wanted to be with him. The grand scheme of the universe, his powerful background, none of it mattered as much as Xiao Ye himself. At this moment, the two women felt enveloped in happiness, their bodies filled with comfort and sweetness. Xiao Ye was indeed attracted to their slender figures, but from this moment on, he felt a greater sense of responsibility. Huangfu Xiangling and the ancestral empress had officially become his wives, his consorts. He couldn't just think about exercise anymore, he would take care of their bodies and minds, providing them with cultivation resources and companionship. The host, controlling the pace and smiling, announced, the bride and groom have entered into a contract, let's proceed directly to the tea ceremony. Please, bride and groom, offer tea to your elders. Xiao Ye, the ancestral empress, and Huangfu Xiangling nodded. The three slowly walked to the back of the platform, first offering tea to the dean. Taking the tea from the waiter's tea tray, Xiao Ye immediately knelt down, holding the tea in both hands, and said gratefully, Grandpa, your grandson is very obedient and has married many wives. Thank you so much, Grandpa, for raising me with such care. Today, my two granddaughters-in-law and I offer you tea. Seeing him kneel, Huangfu Xiangling and the first empress also knelt down, holding their teacups, and said sweetly, Grandpa, please have some tea. Grandpa, the tea temperature is just right. We don't know if it suits your taste, please have some tea. The old man, the dean, grinned, revealing a smile with two missing eyes. He chuckled and muttered to himself. Getting this kid to call me Grandpa is too difficult. If this kid regained his memories, he might beat me up. Best friend becomes Grandpa, But at this moment, he was Xiao Ye's grandpa, an elder. The old dean helped Xiao Ye, Huangfu Xiangling, and the ancestral empress to their feet, then took a sip in turn, smiling as he said, Grandson, you did very well, you didn't disappoint your grandfather. Granddaughter-in-law, you were all very good too, your grandfather admires you. The tea tastes excellent, your grandfather enjoys it very much? Xiao Ye, Huangfu Xiangling, and the ancestral empress nodded, accepted the fresh tea from the waiter, and stood before Ziran. They offered a toast. Ziran drank Huangfu Xiangling's tea and smiled, Xiao Ye, Empress, I don't need your tea. Xiangling, are you happy on your wedding day? Huangfu Xiangling was overjoyed, happy, of course I'm happy. Master, we're sisters now. Ziran's expression stiffened, HMPH, we're both sisters and master and disciple. If you make a mistake, I'll still spank you. Huangfu Xiangling hid behind Xiao Ye, sticking out her tongue, Xiao Ye will protect me, but be careful, I'll make sure Xiao Ye makes you unable to get out of bed and punishes you severely. Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up, is that so? This punishment must be given properly. Ahem. Xiao Ye said helplessly, Alright, it's time to serve tea to Binxie. They're your big sisters, you should leave her alone. Ah! Huangfu Xiangling exclaimed, fear appearing on her face, and hurriedly pulled the ancestor empress to Cheng Binxie's side, saying, Sister Binxie, I'm serving you tea. Sister Binxie, please have some tea. They accepted the tea offered by the waiter and served it to Cheng Binxie. Cheng Binxie nodded with a faint smile, we're all sisters, no need to be so formal. As long as it's not a matter of principle, a little playful banter can add some fun to life. You two are very nice. Huangfu Xiangling and the ancestral empress smiled. Thank you, Sister Binxie. Thank you, Sister Binxie. The host promptly announced, everyone, please stand up and respectfully escort a bride and groom to their bridal chamber. The guests immediately stood up, their gazes respectful. Xiao Ye secretly transmitted his voice, Grandpa, I need to speak with you tomorrow, don't run around. The old dean smiled and transmitted his voice, it's alright, you'll know what you need to know, no rush. Collecting more beast girls is definitely a good idea. I'm thinking of you, it's best to collect all the attributes. Xiao Ye nodded, took the hands of the two brides, and slowly walked out of the wedding venue. The bridal chamber was a small villa. The second floor was Huangfu Xiangling's bridal chamber, and the third floor was the bridal chamber of the first empress. They rushed to their respective chambers, went into the bathroom, washed themselves clean, changed back into their wedding attire, and sat on the edge of the bed, their red veils covering their faces, quietly awaiting Xiao Ye's arrival. Xiao Ye, however, was in a dilemma. He only had one bride, and could only visit one at a time. What about the other bride? After thinking for a moment, he went to the second floor, to Huangfu Xiangling's bridal chamber, and lifted a red veil. The first empress was born a god and had lived for 500,000 years, she should be able to endure loneliness. He could just let her wait a few hours. Chapter 658 Time Management Master. In the bridal chamber, the lights were off, only a single flickering candle flame danced. Xiao Ye, a smile playing on his lips, lifted the red veil from the white-haired girl sitting prettily on the edge of the bed. Her long, silver-white hair was tied in twin ponytails, her delicate, fair face flushed with shyness, yet her beautiful eyes held a playful and lively glint. She threw herself into Xiao Ye's arms, lifting her delicate face in delight, and exclaimed, Xiao Ye, you actually came to find me first. You're so good to me. Xiao Ye gently embraced Huangfu Xiangling. Her figure was graceful and elegant, her potential already budding. He could feel Huangfu Xiangling's excitement and joy, and softly chuckled, white-haired girl, do you want me to go find the first empress? Huangfu Xiangling shook her head, her flowing silver-white twin ponytail swaying, releasing a captivating, youthful fragrance. She gave a soft snort, pouting, you dare. Since you're here, you're not leaving this room tonight. I declare, you, Xiao Ye, belong to me, Huangfu Xiangling, tonight. Xiao Ye chuckled, what if I insist on leaving? Huangfu Xiangling's eyes widened, blinking rapidly. She hugged him tightly, stubbornly saying, I won't let you leave. What the Ancestor Empress can give you, I, Bai Mao, can also give you. What the Ancestor Empress can't give you, I, Bai Mao, can give you even more of. I have twin tails, does the Ancestor Empress have them? Last time you wanted to ride me by my twin tails, I didn't agree, but this time, I'll grant your wish. Gulp. Xiao Ye swallowed, grabbing the twin tails with both hands, testing their flexibility. To his surprise, the white-haired girl's pink face instantly turned bright red, her cheeks flushed with shyness, but her eyes shone with joy. Oh dear, I knew you like this, you rascal. So, are you still willing to leave? Looking at the smug look on the white-haired girl's face, Xiao Ye really didn't want to leave. But the white-haired girl was so proud of herself, did she think she had him under her thumb? Xiao Ye's gaze swept over the white-haired girl's slender figure, and he curled his lips into a smile, saying, Xiangling, but there are some things you can't compare to the Ancestral Queen. What the Ancestral Queen can give, you can't. Maybe I should go find the Ancestral Queen. The white-haired girl looked down and saw her pink toes. She let out a howl and said fiercely, Xiao Ye, you're so mean. You actually made fun of my flaws. I'm going to shove my feet in your mouth. Bang. The white-haired girl kicked him, but Xiao Ye's large hand grabbed her toes and gently rubbed them. Xiao Ye exuded an aura of dominance, declaring defiantly, fine, you actually want to give my mouth athlete's foot. See how I punish you. Xiao Ye tossed the white-haired girl onto the soft couch. A spatial force rippled through it, the fabric was shredded clean, and he grabbed the twin-tailed girl's steering wheel, speeding away. Third floor. The primordial empress had waited excitedly for 2 hours, but Xiao Ye hadn't arrived. Her mood darkened, she was somewhat dejected, and her eyes lost their light. My position in the human emperor's heart is precarious. Among these beast girls, I'm probably last in line. Sigh, what good is being an empress? Married to the human emperor, yet I don't receive timely favor. I have to wait in line. Just as the primordial empress was lost in thought, the candlelight in the room suddenly went out. The primordial empress felt a pair of rough, large hands embrace her, and a unique masculine aura emanated from behind her. It was the human emperor. This unique aura could only be possessed by the human emperor. Your Majesty, you've finally arrived. Don't speak, I came quietly. Xie Mengxuan is asleep. 2,000 words omitted here. In the middle of the night, Huangfu Xie Mengxuan suddenly woke up, feeling the emptiness beside her. Her small hands frantically searched, but she couldn't find Xiao Ye. Huangfu Xie Mengxuan suddenly felt a little disappointed. Xiao Ye had left after all? They promised tonight would only belong to her. Well, one shouldn't be too greedy. Xiao Ye is gone, so be it. He even left after she fell asleep. That's considerate enough. At this moment, a strikingly handsome young man emerged from the restroom. A faint smile played on his lips as he said, Xie Mengxuan, did I make too much noise in the restroom and wake you? Huangfu Xie Mengxuan's eyes widened in disbelief. You didn't leave? Xiao Ye nodded, replying, of course not. You want me to leave, don't you? Huangfu Xie Mengxuan jumped and clung to Xiao Ye, delighted. Of course not. Today you belong to me, tomorrow you belong to the first empress. I'm fair, I won't monopolize you forever. Xiao Ye patted her bottom. This white-haired girl had lacked love her whole life. Now that he was her husband, he would give her enough care. Some things needed to be resolved. He asked, Xie Mengxuan, what do you think of the Huangfu family? Mentioning the Huangfu family seemed to touch a sensitive spot. The white-haired girl's face instantly turned pale, panic flashed in her eyes, and she clung tightly to Xiao Ye. His voice trembled as he stammered, no, please don't mention that family, okay? I have no connection with that family anymore, I won't go back to acknowledge them. I, Bai Mao, only have a master, no parents, no relatives. Xiao Ye's brows furrowed deeply. It seemed the shadow cast on Bai Mao's childhood by the Huangfu family still lingered. Bai Mao must have experienced a very tragic childhood. Ziran's love and care for Bai Mao couldn't erase the childhood trauma. Even now, as a sovereign, the shadow remained, deep within his heart, refusing to dissipate. He had already received messages from the Time Empress and Mu Qingsu. The two women had arrested everyone in the Huangfu family, especially the patriarch Huangfu Tian and the young master Huangfu Dun, imprisoning them in the Mangyuanbei city jail. Tomorrow, the shadow in Huangfu Xie Mengxuan's heart must be resolved so that she can live a happier and more fulfilling life. Xiao Ye said softly, Xie Mengxuan, you're my wife now. Don't worry about the past. The future is all about poetry and distant horizons. These words were like heavenly music, healing all shadows. The fear in Huangfu Xie Mengxuan's eyes dissipated, replaced by excitement and happiness. She rubbed her delicate face against Xiao Ye's chest, sweetly saying, that's right, those things are all in the past, far removed from now. I have a master and a husband, and a whole bunch of sisters who care about me. I'm very happy and content. Xiao Ye, my body has almost recovered. Can you love me one more time? Xiao Ye smiled, sure. The white-haired girl's beautiful eyes lit up, then let's go. An hour later, watching the white-haired girl sleeping soundly beside him, Xiao Ye noticed that the ancestor empress had woken up. Xiao Ye flashed to the toilet on the upper floor. After cleaning himself of the scent, Xiao Ye emerged from the restroom and smiled at the dejected ancestral queen. What? I just went to the restroom and you woke up? The ancestral queen looked at him suspiciously. You really just went to the restroom? Xiao Ye shrugged. What else? The ancestral queen laughed, her voice light and cheerful. Human emperor, you can stay here tonight. I want to hold you while I sleep. Xiao Ye nodded, went closer, and embraced the fragrant, soft ancestral queen, falling asleep in her arms. He gave himself a thumbs up. A master of time management. Chapter 659. Well, you've been running around all night. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating the headboard and highlighting the sleeping beauty of Huangfu Xiangling, her silver hair styled in pigtails. A dreamy smile graced her face, her expression serene and peaceful. Dewdrops glistened at the corners of her rosy lips as she curled up in the blankets, revealing her delicate, white shoulders. In her sleep, her slender hands moved unconsciously, groping for the boy beneath the covers, wanting to snuggle into his arms. But her hands found only empty air. Huangfu Xiangling jolted awake. A hint of panic flashed across her face, her beautiful eyes scanning the room. Finding Xiao Ye not there, she felt a pang of disappointment. Creak. The bedroom door opened, and a handsome man and a beautiful woman entered. The man was dashing, the woman breathtakingly beautiful. It was Xiao Ye and the first empress. Huangfu Xiangling stared blankly at the sunlight illuminating Xiao Ye's exceptionally handsome face, a dazed smile spreading across her lips. It seemed Xiao Ye's presence gave her a profound sense of security and happiness. Xiao Ye chuckled, "Awake? Get up and have breakfast." With a whoosh, a sliver of white skin shot from the bed, landing on Xiao Ye and catching him in his arms. Huangfu Xiangling pressed her face against his broad chest, chuckling sweetly, "Xiao Ye, you're so good, I like you so much." Xiao Ye patted her white, hairy bottom, making a loud slapping sound. "There are people around, aren't you ashamed?" "Huh?" Huangfu Xiangling looked around in confusion, only then noticing the peerless, proud ancestral empress standing beside her, smiling warmly. Huangfu Xiangling's face flushed crimson with embarrassment. She quickly slipped out of his embrace and landed on the ground, saying shyly, "I'm sorry, Your Majesty. Xiao Ye stayed with me all night. Today, Xiao Ye belongs to you. I won't fight you for him." The ancestral empress glanced at Huangfu Xiangling's fair and delicate body and chuckled, "It's alright. You should put on some clothes first. Otherwise, your little pointy thing is really eye-catching." Huangfu Xiangling exclaimed in surprise, her face full of embarrassment and shyness, and she scurried into the bathroom. Xiao Ye laughed, "I brought home a white-haired girl. This thing is so interesting." As soon as he finished speaking, he felt a murderous aura rise beside him. He turned around and was almost startled. The ancestral queen stared intently at him, her eyes filled with murderous intent, and gritted her teeth, saying, "Human Emperor, weren't you in my room last night? Could it be that you just finished with me, then went to find Xiangling, and after finishing with Xiangling, you came to find me? HMPH, Human Emperor, you're truly blessed." Xiao Ye said with a serious face, "So you mean I shouldn't have come to find you? I should have left you hanging all night before coming to find you today." The ancestral queen was taken aback, her anger gradually fading, and she said coyly, "Then you should still come to find me. I can't stand the feeling of being alone in an empty bed. But after you've finished with the other beast girls, you must wash yourself clean before coming to find me. Otherwise, if you come to find me with the smell of the other beast girls, I'll feel disgusted." Xiao Ye waved his hand. "Binxi has already reminded me, I'll be careful. This morning's task was to make Bai Mao face fear, overcome fear, and personally kill the royal family." The ancestral queen nodded. She knew a little about Huangfu Xiangling's past. 10 minutes later, Xiao Ye, Huangfu Xiangling, and the ancestral empress finished their imported buns and arrived at the prison in Mengyun City. Ziran and the time empress had been waiting for a long time before the massive steel gate. The two women nodded, indicating they were ready. Huangfu Xiangling was completely bewildered, having no idea why Xiao Ye had brought her here. Could it be that Xiao Ye enjoyed interrogating prisoners, or had some peculiar fetish that he wanted her, the white-haired girl, to be disguised as a prisoner and disciplined with a whip? "Ugh, Xiao Ye, you're so mean." Huangfu Xiangling rolled her eyes shyly, exuding feminine charm. But just then, a roar erupted from the prison. "What do you want? Don't try to stab me. I'm Huangfu Dun, the young master of the Huangfu family." Who are you?" "My Huangfu family will exterminate your entire clan." Damn it, you all deserve to die." A series of angry and painful screams rang out. Huangfu Xiangling trembled violently, her beautiful eyes filled with panic and hatred. Her small hands gripped Xiao Ye's sleeve tightly. Xiao Ye smiled and said, "Let's go in together." Boom. The cell door opened, and everyone rushed in. Here were imprisoned a group of heinous criminals. Xiao Ye also saw Tang San. Tang San was deathly pale, lying convulsing on the withered straw in the cell, white bubbles rising from his mouth, his pupils unfocused, his vital signs extremely weak. He would likely die soon. Xiao Ye withdrew his gaze, no longer observing. Tang San deserved to die, he wasn't worth Xiao Ye's attention. The group went to the deepest part of the cell. This specially crafted cell, made with emperor-level restrictions, can seal the realm, energy, divine sense, and soul of all cultivators below the peak of the emperor realm, weakening their physical strength. Anyone whose realm doesn't exceed the peak of the emperor realm, regardless of whether they are emperor or saint, will instantly become an ordinary person upon entering. Even their body will be weakened to the same level as an ordinary person. In the dark dungeon, the restricted chains bound Huangfu Tian and Huangfu Dun's hands and feet. A jailer was holding a red-hot branding iron, stabbing it into Huangfu Dun's body. Huangfu Dun's weakened body was now covered in blue and purple marks from the branding iron, his muscles contorted, veins bulging, a horrifying sight. His face was contorted with pain, his features grotesque. The jailer chuckled upon seeing them, saying, "Young master, young madam, I followed your orders and given this criminal special attention." Xiao Ye tossed him a Supreme Realm crystal core and waved his hand. The jailer was extremely excited, caught the crystal core, thanked him several times, and hurriedly left the Emperor Realm restricted cell. HMPH, that scoundrel Tang San actually impersonated the young master. I'll take good care of him. Inside the restricted cell, Xiao Ye pushed Huangfu Xiangling forward a step and said in a deep voice, "Xiangling, do to him what he did to you. The Huangfu clan chief is also here, the man who gave birth to you but didn't raise you and expelled you from the clan. You're different now than when you were a child. You're no longer a helpless child who can be manipulated by them. You are a sovereign realm expert. You must overcome your fear and completely dispel the shadows left from your childhood." Huangfu Xiangling's delicate body trembled slightly, her eyes fixed on Huangfu Dun and Huangfu Tian. Huangfu Dun's eyes lit up when he saw the newcomer. "Little sister, I'm your brother. Let us leave quickly. Don't believe these people's lies. What we did to you when you were little was just child's play, a joke. Don't take it seriously." Chapter 660 The Huangfu family, annihilated. Huangfu Xiangling clenched her fists, her nails digging deep into her tender flesh. She glared angrily at Huangfu Dun, snarling, "Playing house? Are you kidding me? You stole my baby bottle, wouldn't let me drink milk, causing my stunted growth and almost killing me. Colluding with your clan, ostracizing and isolating me, that's playing house. Causing me to develop autism, that's a joke. Huangfu Dun, you truly deserve a terrible death. I'll tear you apart, skin you alive, and burn your soul to the heavens." Huangfu Dun's face paled instantly, terrified. Standing before him was a great emperor. For a great emperor, crushing him was easier than crushing an ant. Huangfu Dun hurriedly begged for mercy, feigning remorse. "Little sister, I was too playful when I was young. Since then, I've deeply realized my flaws. I did wrong. I'm deeply sorry, little sister. I've repented now and changed my ways. I'm no longer like I was before. I've reformed. Please let me go. I'll make up for what I did wrong to you." Huangfu Xiangling scoffed, angrily saying, "Repented? Do you think I'll believe that? After expelling me from the family, you tried to murder me several times. If it weren't for my master resolving everything, I would have died long ago. HMPH, I have nothing more to say to you." With a wave of her hand, she directly extracted Huangfu Dun's soul. A ghostly green soul struggled desperately, but to no avail. The soul landed on the grill, and in an instant, Huangfu Dun let out a miserable, piercing howl, like the wailing of a ghost. "Ah! Little sister, I'm your brother. Putting everything else aside, are you really going to burn your brother to death with your own hands? Ah, it hurts so much. Little sister, stop, please stop." Huangfu Xiangling channeled a stream of energy into Huangfu Dun's soul. Huangfu Dun immediately felt a little better and laughed. "Little sister, I knew you wouldn't betray your own brother for the greater good." Huangfu Xiangling sneered, "I'm afraid that if you die, this energy will guarantee you immortality for 10,000 years. For the next 10,000 years, you'll spend them in this oven." As soon as she finished speaking, all the energy on the surface of Huangfu Dun's soul was locked inside. Without the protection of this energy, he was once again scorched by the flames on the grill. The miserable cries of pain rang out again. The volume was more than 10 times louder than before. Huangfu Xiangling, I should have killed you long ago. You deserve to die a horrible death. It hurts so much. Little sister, spare me." Huangfu Dun cursed and begged for mercy. His soul was imprisoned in the grill, enduring constant torment, yet unable to die. Little sister, please kill me. If I die, you'll have your revenge. Kill me quickly, thank you. It hurts so much, I'm going to faint. After fainting, Huang Fudun was awakened by the burning pain of his soul, once again enduring the torment of being burned by candlelight. 10,000 years? Huang Fudun was filled with despair. He regretted it, regretted provoking Huangfu Xiangling, regretted treating her the way he had. Xiao Ye, the ancestral empress, Ziran, and the time empress watched calmly. Huang Fudun's current predicament was the fruit of his own actions. Everything has a cause and effect, a cycle of cause and effect. Huang Fudun deserved it. Huang Fudun's pitiful scream startled Huang Futian, the unconscious patriarch of the Huangfu family. Huang Futian's steady eyes swept over the surroundings, his expression changing drastically. Duner, what's wrong? Who are you? Huang Fudun wailed miserably, filled with resentment. Huang Futian, look what you've done. Your daughter, Huangfu Xiangling, has come to seek revenge. Huang Futian, you deserve to die too. You too must be burned in the soul for 10,000 years. It hurts so much. Souls cannot speak, but the words expressed through their soul fluctuations could be clearly perceived by everyone present. Huang Futian's face darkened, his deep gaze sweeping over the stunningly beautiful twin-tailed girl, Huangfu Xiangling, standing at the forefront. He exclaimed in surprise, "You're Huangfu Xiangling?" The hatred in Huangfu Xiangling's eyes vanished, replaced by endless indifference and coldness. How, I'm standing right in front of you, and you don't even recognize me? How ridiculous. No wonder you're the high and mighty patriarch of the royal family. She had almost no feelings for Huang Futian. From childhood to age 10, Huang Futian had almost never held her, never even glanced at her. Her baby bottle and clothes as a child were given to her by her mother's best friend, a maid from the Huangfu family, who had died in childbirth. If it weren't for that maid raising and caring for her, she would have starved and frozen to death long ago. After being taken in and adopted by her master, Ziran, she heard from her master that the maid had actually been executed by Huang Futian. Executed. The Huangfu family certainly had the ability to save her mother's life during childbirth, but they didn't offer any help, watching her mother die in childbirth. It could be said that the Huangfu family didn't raise her at all. Instead, they caused the deaths of her mother and wet nurse. Huang Futian said impatiently, "You've long since ceased to be a member of the Huangfu family. You've captured me and my son today to seek revenge and kill us? I advise you to give up that idea. Our Huangfu family ancestor has already broken through to the quasi-emperor realm perfection stage. He will come to save us soon. You are doomed." Huangfu Xiangling coldly replied, "Death? That's too easy for you. A quasi-emperor realm perfection ancestor? The entire Huangfu family will die." Huang Futian scoffed, as if he'd heard a joke, and laughed loudly, "Ignorant. You have no idea what the quasi-emperor realm perfection stage represents. It's the pinnacle of combat power on Blue Star." Huang Futian couldn't bear it any longer. While wailing in agony, he spoke through his soul fluctuations, "Huang Futian, this illegitimate daughter you expelled from the family is now at the great emperor realm. The Huangfu family is doomed. It's all your fault. When we were kids, you were the one who made me ostracize and isolate Huangfu Xiangling. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done those stupid things." Great Emperor? Huang Futian's expression changed drastically, his gaze shifting between light and shadow. Are you really a great emperor? Recently, everyone in the family had advanced in their bloodline level, and Huang Futian's talent had reached a quasi-mythical level. But no great emperor had ever been born in the family, not even his direct descendants. Huangfu Xiangling retorted angrily, "So what if I am?" Huang Futian was shocked, gasping for breath. "It was you who advanced to great emperor. No wonder everyone in our Huangfu family has undergone such a transformation." His tone suddenly became amiable, and he smiled, "Xiangling, no matter what, we are all your living relatives. And I am your father. Do you really want to destroy the Huangfu family and bear the eternal infamy of disloyalty and filial impiety?" Huangfu Xiangling sneered, "I have never had a father, and I have no blood relation to the Huangfu family." She directly extracted Huang Futian's soul, channeled a stream of energy into it, and placed it beside Huang Fudun, letting it burn in the raging flames. In an instant, a series of agonizing screams filled the cell. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 661, Traveling Through Time and Space, Resurrecting People from the Past. Huangfu Xiangling raised her hand and released a burst of energy onto Huangfu Tian's body. The raging flames on the grill scorched and licked at his soul. The energy entered Huangfu Tian's body, only ensuring he wouldn't be burned to death. The blazing flames, radiating intense heat, suddenly intensified. If it was a small flame before, it was now a world-destroying fire that incinerated everything. The entire forbidden cell could feel the intense heat of the grill. The air inside the cell evaporated, creating a vacuum with temperatures reaching millions of degrees. The pain and torment endured by Huangfu Tian and Huangfu Dun increased 100-fold. Ouch! Xiangling, I know I was wrong, I regret it, I'm willing to make amends for the harm I've caused you, please spare me. It hurts so much? Little sister, let me die. You hate me, just kill me. Their souls twisted, flickering between light and shadow, emitting sharp, agonizing screams. Like a sharp object scraping against metal, it emitted a chilling, eerie howl. From their pale, translucent green souls, one could vaguely discern their features contorted in agony, their faces grotesque and horrifying. Huangfu Xiangling watched this scene with cold indifference. The fear in her heart gradually dissipated, and her resentment towards Huangfu Tian and Huangfu Dun also subtly diminished. The deep-seated shadows and resentment within her heart began to dissolve. But to completely dissolve these shadows and resentment, this was not enough. Ziran smiled faintly. Xiangling, do you miss the maidservant from the Huangfu family who secretly raised and cared for you when you were little? And your mother who died in childbirth? Huangfu Xiangling trembled, her eyes instantly reddening, and she choked out, yes, I miss her so much. But my mother died because of me in childbirth. And the maidservant and wet nurse who secretly raised me were also executed by Huangfu Tian and suffered inhuman torture. I'm so sorry to them. Now that Huangfu Tian and Huangfu Dun have received their retribution, the fear and hatred in her heart gradually dissipated. But her mother, maidservant, and wet nurse who died because of her will never come back to life. Xiao Ye waved his hand. Mu Qingsu nodded, her figure flashing and disappearing. When she reappeared, two haggard-looking middle-aged women were behind her. One of the middle-aged women looked very similar to Huangfu Xiangling, while the other middle-aged woman had an ordinary appearance. However, upon seeing the scene inside, both of them rushed out with great joy and came to Huangfu Xiangling's side, exclaiming in surprise, "You are Huangfu Xiangling? This must be Huangfu Xiangling. She has grown so much?" Huangfu Xiangling's delicate body trembled violently, and she looked at the two middle-aged women in front of her with disbelief. Tears welled up in her eyes, and she rushed into the embrace of the middle-aged women. Excitedly, they exclaimed, "Your mommy! Your godmother? There's no mistake. From mommy, I feel the closeness of blood ties, and from godmother, I sense a familiar aura." Yang Xiu and Yang Bing hugged Huangfu Xiangling tightly, nodding vigorously, and exclaimed with delight, "Yes, it's us. Ha ha ha, I never thought we'd meet again. Oh my, Xiangling has grown so much? So beautiful and radiant. Whoever marries you will be so lucky." Huangfu Xiangling asked curiously, "Mommy, godmother, weren't you, why are you still alive?" Yang Xiu and Yang Bing looked at Mu Qingsu gratefully and said, "It was this kind-hearted senior who saved us. After I fainted during childbirth, I was brought here, and the illness I developed during childbirth was cured by the senior. Yes, this senior is beautiful and kind-hearted, she'll definitely find a good husband. After Huangfu Tian executed me and buried my body, I actually came back to life and was brought here." Huangfu Xiangling understood and smiled sweetly. "Sister Qingsu, thank you for reuniting my family." Mu Qingsu pointed at Xiao Ye. "No need to thank me, it was all Xiao Ye's idea. He let me travel through time back to the past, changing some subtle changes in the timeline, and resurrecting your mother and godmother." Huangfu Xiangling cried happily. "Why, Xiao Ye, you're so good to me. I'm going to reward you handsomely tonight." Xiao Ye waved his hand and said softly, "You're my beast girl, who else would I be good to if not you? Besides, I only intervened slightly. I had Mu Qingsu go to the past to resurrect, then used the power of destiny to change your mother and godmother's fates, and then traveled through time to the present. A 10th level Dominator Realm time ability user can already travel through time. But they can't change the future course of the world, only subtly alter some minor things that don't affect the world's direction. In addition, by using the power of destiny to change the fates of 2 women and resurrecting 2 women below the venerable realm, the world wouldn't reject them. Everything makes sense. Yang Xiu, Huangfu Xiangling's mother, and Yang Bing, her godmother, asked in confusion, "Who is this young man?" Huangfu Xiangling smiled sweetly. "This is my husband, Xiao Ye." Xiao Ye stepped forward and said politely, "Mother-in-law, godmother-in-law, hello. My name is Xiao Ye. I was born in an orphanage and I am Xiangling's husband." Yang Xiu and Yang Bing knelt down with a thud, wanting to kowtow, and said gratefully, "Son-in-law, thank you for saving us. Otherwise, we would never be able to reunite with Xiangling." Xiao Ye hurriedly stepped forward to help him up, somewhat flustered, and said, "No, you can't kneel. If you kneel, I will lose my lifespan." Ah! Yang Xiu and Yang Bing heard this and hurriedly stood up. "Kneeling will lose your lifespan? That won't do. If Xiangling becomes a widow, she will definitely resent us. You are still young and can live a long time. You can't lose your lifespan." They could more or less guess that their son-in-law was a powerful and capable person. The son-in-law's words were probably true, so the shortened lifespan was also probably true. Xiao Ye smiled faintly. "Mother-in-law, godmother-in-law, Xiangling, shall we have lunch together, a family reunion dinner?" Huangfu Xiangling's eyes lit up. Okay. She pointed her finger, and the corpses of Huangfu Tian and Huangfu Dun on the ground turned to ashes. Then she slapped out. In the sky above the Huangfu family's ancestral land in the capital, a supersized handprint filled with divine patterns and explosive energy fell. With one slap, the Huangfu family in its ancestral land were reduced to ashes. The people of the Huangfu family bloodline had long been captured by Mu Kingxu and the Time Empress, and all were imprisoned within the Huangfu family's ancestral land, including the Huangfu family's patriarch. From this point on, the Huangfu family ceased to exist. At noon, Xiao Ye, Huangfu Xiangling, Yang Xiu, and Yang Bing had a wonderful lunch in a brand new manor in Mangyuan City. He could see that the shadow in Huangfu Xiangling's heart had been completely dispelled, and mentioning the Huangfu family did not cause any emotional fluctuation in Huangfu Xiangling. Huangfu Xiangling's family was reunited, and she was bathed in a sea of happiness. After dinner, Xiao Ye chatted with Huangfu Xiangling's family for a while before leaving. Xiao Ye went to the orphanage, only to find the old director and the Time Empress talking. The Time Empress's pretty face was flushed, her expression shy, and she nodded occasionally. Xiao Ye shouted, "Hey, you toothless old man, you lewd old geezer, actually flirting with a young maiden." Chapter 662 Wild beasts appear, void law owners emerge. Xiao Ye rushed out, blocking the Time Empress's path, and said firmly, "Time Empress, don't be afraid, I'm here. You toothless old man, actually having designs on a pretty young girl? You're still going strong." The old dean's face darkened, speechless. "Young man, I'm not interested in women. I'm here to set you up, you understand?" Xiao Ye hesitated. "Really?" The old dean said speechlessly. "What else? Ask this little girl." The Time Empress raised her pretty face shyly, and said bashfully, "Human Emperor, Grandpa wasn't flirting with me. Grandpa said he'd take me as his granddaughter-in-law and let me marry you. I'm tempted, hee." The old dean's eyes lit up, and he chuckled, "Little girl, wasn't I right? My grandson has extraordinary potential, he's clearly destined for greatness. You won't regret marrying him." The Time Empress nodded, Yes, I'm willing to marry the Human Emperor." The old dean's face turned serious. "Xiao Ye," he said, "this is the first time Grandpa has found you a wife. You can't refuse. Otherwise, you'll break both my heart and the little girl's. It's settled then. From now on, this little girl is your wife. Hurry up and take your wife home." Xiao Ye's lips twitched. He hadn't said anything, and he already had a beautiful wife. "No, Xiao Ye wanted to say something, but the old dean glared at him and said, "Damn it, kid, at least give me some face. Hurry up and take your wife home." Xiao Ye sighed helplessly. "Fine, I agree. I'll marry the Time Empress, okay? But now, I have many questions to ask you." The Time Empress stood gracefully behind Xiao Ye, her face flushed with shyness, her beautiful eyes filled with joy. Great! The human emperor finally agreed to marry her. Grandpa himself said so, the eldest sister shouldn't refuse, right? She, the time empress, was Grandpa's approved granddaughter-in-law. The old dean stepped back cautiously and said, "Young man, what do you want to ask? There are many taboos you're not qualified to know yet. Knowing them won't do you any good before you have sufficient strength." Xiao Ye waved his hand and said, "Empress of Time, please excuse me. I have personal matters to attend to." The old dean curled his lip. "Young man, this is your wife. No need to excuse yourself." The Empress of Time gave the old man a grateful look. Xiao Ye sighed and said, "Fine, if you don't want to avoid it, then you don't. Old man, what's the origin of that world tree? What does it have to do with me? What do I need to find in the desolate realm to replenish its core?" The old dean's eyes deepened, and he said mysteriously, "The world tree, it was originally yours. It's the cosmic core left behind after you were blown up in one of your past lives. Those guys in the desolate realm are your enemies from that past life who destroyed you, stole your things, and are now just surviving trash in the desolate realm. You just need to destroy every single beast in the desolate realm, extract their cores, and replenish the world tree. As for your past life, identity, and experiences, we can't reveal too much now. And why you were destroyed is even more unspeakable, otherwise." His expression changed, becoming solemn, and he said, "A taboo, unspeakable. In short, just destroy every single beast in the desolate realm." The Time Empress was completely bewildered, feeling utterly confused, and couldn't understand what the two were saying at all. Xiao Ye nodded, "I understand, it's just a wild beast." The old dean suddenly snapped his fingers, excitedly saying, "A wild beast has emerged. You should take your wife and deal with it quickly. Kid, a surprise awaits you." "A surprise?" Xiao Ye, holding the Time Empress's delicate hand, vanished in a flash of white light. Above the vast, turbulent Pacific Ocean, a celestial dog-like wild beast exuding an aura of decay emerged from a void rift in the wilderness realm. It resembled a wolfhound, its thick, powerful limbs brimming with immense strength. Its massive mouth, filled with fangs, was larger than a wolfhound's, its eyes like crescent moons. Its size was approximately 100,000 meters. With one foot, it crushed an isolated island to pieces. Its crescent-shaped eyes peered through space towards the Dragon Kingdom, the world tree reflected in its pupils. Roar! 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 The core of the universe has finally appeared. We, the holy spirits of the desolate realm, no longer have to wait to die. The heavenly dog roared excitedly, clearly thrilled. It could sense that this blue star was of a very low level, and the beings within it were extremely weak. It, a mere beast, could seize the core of the universe and perfect the desolate realm. Suddenly, a stunningly beautiful woman wearing an ancient robe with divine patterns, flowing fiery red hair, and crimson eyes appeared not far away. Beside her stood a burly man, his posture restrained and cautious. This man was imbued with the aura of Blue Star, with emperor-level rules of the five elements flowing within him. He was none other than the five elements god. He was in a bitter state of mind. He had sought refuge in the White Horse star system, revealing much information about Blue Star to the White Horse demonic path. As a result, the White Horse demonic path was completely annihilated. Later, he traveled to the depths of the universe, to the Void Saint Clan's star domain, where he witnessed the Time Empress fighting this stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair. The Time Empress, unable to defeat her, fled. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair, unable to catch him, became enraged and captured him, the Five Elements God. To save their own lives, the Five Elements Gods brought the stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair to Blue Star. Senior, Blue Star may not meet your standards, but this suddenly appearing desolate realm might satisfy your needs. The Empress of Time is nothing but a chick before you, easily crushed with a flick of your wrist, nothing to worry about. But this desolate realm is full of treasures, the Five Elements Gods thought viciously. The desolate realm was teeming with powerful holy spirits, it would be best to kill this fiery red-haired bitch. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair curled her cherry lips into a smile, her beautiful eyes calmly fixed on the desolate beast heavenly dog, and said indifferently, "This decaying aura suggests that the desolate realm is in the process of dying. The desolate beast is bound to the desolate realm, its life tied to it. The moment the desolate realm completely perishes, the desolate beast will die with it." The desolate beast heavenly dog was shocked, This human had actually seen through what the desolate realm was going through at a glance. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair calmly said, "Since you're going to die anyway, then die now. A mere early-stage sovereign realm beast, a trip to the human ancestral star might yield some gains." She unleashed a palm strike, the power of the void law surging forth. Wherever the power passed, air, sea water, and even space itself were reduced to nothingness. The heavenly dog's expression changed drastically. It actually sensed a life-or-death crisis. It hurriedly fled into the desolate realm. However, it was too late. The heavenly dog's hindquarters were still struck by the void law's divine power. AOW. It roared in agony, its hindquarters shattered into nothingness, leaving only half its body to escape into the desolate realm. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair coldly snorted and flashed after it. But as soon as she entered the desolate realm, she retreated, her face pale, her body filled with an aura of decay. Her life force was dissipating, the brilliance in her pupils gradually fading, and the wild genes deep within her body were being activated. This desolate realm actually carries the supreme law of decay. It's doomed. Those tainted by decay will surely transform into beasts and perish. Empress of Time, I'll fight you again in my next life. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair raised her hand to strike her own chest, attempting to shatter her heart and commit suicide. Just then, Xiao Ye and the Empress of Time arrived. Chapter 663 The love-hate relationship between the Time Empress and the Mad Woman. Not far from the pitch-black rift connecting heaven and earth, the stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair stopped in her tracks upon seeing the Time Empress, whom she hated with a passion, arrive. Her eyes blazed with fury as she glared at the Time Empress. "You little wench, you've come at the perfect time. Before I completely lose my temper, I'll give you a good beating to vent my anger. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, you stole my opportunity, causing me to lose my position as the Holy Maiden of the Holy Clan. In recent years, you've spread rumors within the Holy Clan, damaging my reputation. I will never forgive you. Enemies meeting are bound to be filled with hatred." The Time Empress, hiding behind Xiao Ye, gritted her teeth and coldly shouted, "Mad woman, opportunities are not for everyone, those who are destined to have them will claim them. You chased me, causing my will and body to become unstable. For hundreds of thousands of years, my cultivation hasn't progressed a step. You deserve to die." The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair roared, "Nonsense. That opportunity belongs to my holy clan's ancestral land, the legacy of a holy maiden from ancient times. How could it be unclaimed? How, it's you who forcibly absorbed something that didn't belong to you, causing problems with your body. You deserve it." Xiao Ye and the five elements gods were astonished. These two women have been fighting for hundreds of thousands of years, and so many bizarre events have occurred. Xiao Ye spoke up, "Wait. I have a question. What rumors did the Time Empress spread about you?" The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair ignored him and began to hurl insults. "You little wench, you're reaping what you sowed. You won't be able to improve your cultivation level at all in the future. Serves you right, ha ha ha. Why don't you just become my maid? I'll take you flying." The Time Empress snorted coldly and said, "Rumors? What I spread wasn't rumors, it was your true nature. You're a slut, 80 strong men and I would be enough to satisfy you. You frequent the residence of the Holy Son of the Holy Clan, and you're even kept by him. You're a whore." The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair's beautiful eyes widened, her face turning red and then pale, her chest heaving with anger. "Nonsense," she shouted angrily. "I'm still a virgin, I've never touched a man. That Holy Son is my brother." The Time Empress scoffed, "Brother? More like a lover. I feel disgusted just looking at your filthy body." The five elements gods questioned, "Really? Why are you so fixated on this? Is there some shameful past?" Xiao Ye simply pulled out 2 packets of melon seeds, gave one to the five elements gods, and said while cracking open the seeds, "These two seem to have fallen out because of love. Time Empress, could it be that you also like that Holy Son of the Holy Clan?" The Time Empress panicked. She had just been introduced to the human emperor by the dean, and the human emperor had agreed to marry her. She couldn't afford to be misunderstood. Empress Time said anxiously, "Human emperor, I never liked the Holy Son. Back then, it was this madwoman who abandoned me to cling to the Holy Son, that's why I spread rumors about her. As for that opportunity, this madwoman partnered with me from the beginning, saying we'd get it together and split it. But I got that opportunity all by myself, Why should I share half with her? So I ran away. Xiao Ye's focus was tricky. He hesitated and asked, "You and this red-haired woman, were you two intimate?" Empress Time blushed and said shyly, "Oh, that's all in the past. We only held hands, we never even kissed." After this mad woman went in and out of the Holy Sun's residence for several nights in a row, I stopped liking her. I feel disgusted just looking at such a filthy woman. Xiao Ye was stunned. Empress Time had actually been deviant. And this mad woman was intimate? He nodded, understanding the general situation. After clarifying the situation, let's summarize. After the birth of the Time Empress, she discovered that she could no longer advance to the perfected Emperor realm on Blue Star, so she traveled to the depths of the universe to seek a breakthrough. She entered the Madwoman's Holy Clan's star domain and met the Madwoman. After their interactions, they admired each other and fell in love, becoming inseparable. Then, the Time Empress discovered that the Madwoman had been entering and leaving the Holy Sun's residence for several nights in a row, becoming jealous and creating a rift in their relationship. However, this conflict was only a seed, not yet erupting. Later, during the Madwoman's Holy Clan's Holy Maiden selection competition, the Time Empress and the Madwoman conspired to enter the Holy Clan's ancestral land, the Holy Maiden's inheritance ground. The Time Empress obtained the opportunity alone, refusing to share it with the Madwoman. The Time Empress then fled the Holy Clan's star domain, pursued by the Madwoman and the Holy Clan. Forced to use the opportunity to forcibly break through to the star domain realm, she damaged her willpower. Finally, the Time Empress escaped, but still resentful, she returned to the Holy Clan's star domain and spread rumors about the Madwoman. Xiao Ye's pupils contracted as he discovered a crucial point in the blind man's story. The Time Empress was only at the 4th level of the star domain realm, while the Madwoman was at the 8th level of the sovereign realm. Every time the Time Empress went to fight the Madwoman, she always returned safely. That meant that although the Madwoman harbored anger towards the Time Empress, she still loved her. So that's why the Time Empress always returned safely after going to fight? Combined with the fiery red-haired woman's jealous expression, this logic was complete. Hiss. Xiao Ye gasped. No wonder the Mad Woman called the Time Empress Little Vixen, and the Time Empress called the Mad Woman Mad Woman. It was like flirting. Damn, both women were outrageous. But the 5 Elements God, munching on melon seeds, impatiently said, "No, what are you two arguing about? Get to work. Why are you arguing so much? Fight. Since you have a grudge, a life or death grudge, then fight." The 5 Elements God didn't have that kind of brain. He couldn't see through all the twists and turns, the love and hate. Life and death are nothing to me. If you're not convinced, then fight. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair reiterated her earlier words, her pretty face darkening as she said, "Little wench, what is your relationship with this man?" The Time Empress raised her snow-white swan neck, boasting, "This is my husband, my man, the Time Empress's man." "Ha ha ha, crazy woman, I already have a home, how about it, aren't you envious?" Xiao Ye wrapped his arms around the Time Empress's soft, slender waist, kissed her beautiful, collagen-filled face, and said, "Yes, this is my wife, crazy woman, please don't bother us anymore, please give up your covetousness of the Time Empress, the Time Empress is mine." This was his wife, of course he had to protect his wife. But upon hearing this, the stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair bristled like a hedgehog, her beautiful eyes glaring fiercely at Xiao Ye, and shouted, "Only a man, a strong man, can possess a beautiful wife. Fight me, if you lose, you don't deserve to have this little wench." Chapter 664 The Shocking Mad Woman. The 5 Elements Gods chuckled. "Fine, let's fight. It would be best if they both perished in the end. This human brat possesses the power to obliterate the will of gods, he deserves to die. This mad woman deserves to die too. And the Time Empress, she'd better be dead as well. Then, the 5 Elements Gods could once again roam freely and happily on Earth. So you're saying you're going to steal my wife?" Xiao Ye laughed. "Empress of Time, who do you like?" In front of everyone, the Empress of Time gave Xiao Ye a quick kiss, her face flushed with shyness. "Of course it's you, human emperor. I'm a pure woman, I'll give myself to you when we get back." Xiao Ye raised his chin, his gaze calmly fixed on the fiery red-haired beauty gritting her teeth. "Did you hear that, woman? I'll let you go since you didn't kill the Empress of Time before. Go back to that holy clan. Perhaps you can still be saved after being tainted by the Dao of the Desolate Realm. If we delay any longer, you'll turn into a beast and wreak havoc on Blue Star. I'll have no choice but to kill you." The 5 elements gods panicked and hurriedly cried out, "Senior, fight. Start the fight." The fiery red-haired beauty snorted coldly and unleashed a void law. Wherever the void law passed, everything turned to nothingness. Xiao Ye was surprised. The attack wasn't directed at him, but at the 5 elements gods. The 5 elements gods were terrified, their souls nearly leaving their bodies. They cried out in panic, "Senior, I haven't offended you. Why must you kill me? This brat is your true opponent. Kill him. And kill the Empress of Time as well. Senior, spare me." Before the 5 elements gods could finish speaking, with a soft, their bodies were struck by the void law and turned into nothingness. Their will detached, struggling within the void law, but under its forced emptiness, it gradually crumbled, dissipated, and turned into nothingness. I don't want to die." The will uttered a painful wail, but it lasted only a few seconds before completely vanishing into nothingness. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair snorted, "Annoying flies are gone. Man, now it's our final battle. Even if I die, I'll let you know that beautiful wives belong only to the strong. The weak are unworthy of such beauty." Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. "The void law? Another new law. What's the difference between this law and the law of destruction?" "The illusionary spirit law allows one to vanish into nothingness, becoming invisible, inaudible, and unseen. What difference is there between this and the void law?" Xiao Ye, holding the fragrant and soft Time Empress, inhaling her sweet scent, said, "Since you want to fight, then let's begin. 8th level sovereign realm, huh?" The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair raised her hand and unleashed a void law technique. All returns to nothingness, turns everything into nothingness, into void. Oh ho. Xiao Ye's interest was piqued, his time precognition actually sensed a threat, his temples throbbing. The sovereign realm's law of destruction surged from his body, transforming him into a world-destroying sovereign, unleashing a law of destruction technique. Quantum annihilation, matter, life, and laws all exist because of quantum entanglement. Quantum annihilation annihilates everything in the world. The two extremely powerful law techniques clashed. Sizzle 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 sizzle. The void law energy and the law of destruction energy annihilated each other, turning into nothingness. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair was shocked, her beautiful eyes widening in disbelief. "The law of destruction. You actually possess a law of destruction on par with the law of void," she exclaimed. "Aren't you a cultivator of the law of space?" Xiao Ye frowned. The Time Empress was somewhat nervous. In the clash of the two laws, the law of void prevailed, completely dissipating the energy of the law of destruction, leaving a lingering force that hurtled towards them. "Human Emperor, should we run? This person can't catch us," the Time Empress whispered. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. "That crazy woman deliberately let you go. Did you really think you could escape?" He laughed. "It's alright. My law of destruction is only at the 1st level of the Dominator realm, while the Mad Woman's void law is at the 8th level. That's why I lost the first round." Xiao Ye unleashed the Dominator realm illusionary spirit law divine power, transform into nothingness, body, soul, energy, etc., transform into nothingness. An advanced version of invisibility skill, invisible, inaudible, and untouchable from the outside world. The divine power landed on him and the Time Empress, and in an instant, the two disappeared, transforming into nothingness. Whoosh! The void law divine power pierced through the air, sweeping past and landing in the Pacific Ocean. The churning seawater instantly turned into nothingness, creating a gap of 10,000 meters in the seawater. Seawater from all around rushed in, creating towering waves hundreds of thousands of meters high. The beautiful woman with fiery red hair was shocked. The illusionary spirit law, a high-level law that simultaneously possesses the effects of the void law and the illusionary realm law. How can one person cultivate so many laws at the same time? She was almost questioning her life. Even though Luzuki was a born prodigy, exceptionally talented, she could only cultivate one attribute, one law. Even so, at a young age, she reached the 8th level of the Dominator realm, entered the Starry Sky Prodigy ranking 1000th, bringing glory to her ancestors and becoming a dazzling presence wherever she went. But this young man who was vying with her for the affections of a young woman had actually cultivated 3 laws simultaneously, the law of space, the law of destruction, and the law of illusion. Huff! Xiao Ye and the Time Empress staggered as they reappeared. When the void law passed through them, it treated them as its own kind and didn't attack. However, the natural power of the void law's passage still exhausted the energy of the illusion law's divine power. Xiao Ye was only at the first level of the Dominator realm in terms of the illusion law. It couldn't compare to the Mad Woman's 8th level Dominator realm void law. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair abandoned her disdain and said, "You are a super genius worthy of respect. It's unbelievable that you can cultivate multiple laws to the sovereign realm at such a young age. If you only cultivated one law, you might have already surpassed the sovereign realm and advanced to the Star River realm. Come on, man. Use your strongest law, and I will defeat you severely, so you'll know that this little wench is mine." Xiao Ye's rough hand rubbed the Time Empress's buttocks and laughed. "That corrupting Dao law aura shouldn't last more than 2 minutes, right? Still want to fight me?" The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair coldly unleashed her strongest divine power, primordial nothingness, return everything to its origin, the nothingness before the birth of the universe. The mysterious and profound void mystery divine power swept towards Xiao Ye, and the space, time, energy, and so on in its path were all transformed into the most primordial nothingness. Xiao Ye, unhurried, pointed a finger. "Time cage, seals the time of a space, trapping it in an endless time loop." The void profound mystery was sealed by the time cage. The void profound mystery, trapped in the time loop, sometimes expanded, sometimes disappeared, endlessly repeating. With a thought from Xiao Ye, the time cage shattered, and the void profound mystery vanished along with it. The stunningly beautiful woman with fiery red hair stared blankly, head bowed, muttering dejectedly, "The law of time. This man actually possesses the supreme law of time. I'm lost. Little wench, now that you've found your place, I don't need to come looking for you anymore." Chapter 665 The Madwoman's Last Words, a Heartfelt Confession. Now, the aura of decay and corruption had seeped into the very core of the beautiful woman with her fiery red hair, permeating her very bones, and her entire body emanated an aura of decay and ruin. Her once flowing, stunningly beautiful red hair had become lifeless. Her exquisitely pretty face was gradually becoming contorted with rage. The mad woman seemed to want to gaze at the Empress for a few more moments, standing there stunned, her beautiful eyes fixed on her, as if lost in memories. She murmured to herself, "That year, my family tried to force me into a marriage alliance, treating me like an object to be given to the Shang family. I felt hopeless and even contemplated suicide. It was your appearance that provided evidence of the Shang family's rebellion, which you then handed over to me. This evidence was then sent to the Holy Clan, who investigated and exterminated the entire Shang family, allowing me to escape the forced marriage. You said I was beautiful and wanted to see my body. We soaked in hot springs together and scrubbed each other's backs. Your body is beautiful, even more alluring than mine. I was captivated and fell in love with you. But you shouldn't have stolen my opportunity, causing me to miss the position of Holy Maiden and be confined by the Holy Clan. If it weren't for my brother's extraordinary talent, becoming the Holy Son of the Holy Clan, I might still be imprisoned in the Sword Key Abyss, my body pierced by countless sword laws, riddled with holes. I enjoyed fighting with you, teasing you, and seeing you unable to defeat me. The times you came to fight me were the happiest and most joyful times for me." The mad woman's expression shifted between a sweet smile, resentment, and a blissful grin. The Time Empress and Xiao Ye stared in disbelief. Xiao Ye whispered, "Time Empress, are you sure you go to fight her every now and then, and not to have a secret rendezvous with her?" The Time Empress puffed out her cheeks, huffing, "I have no feelings for her anymore. I fight her out of anger. I work so hard to obtain cultivation resources, but my cultivation level hasn't improved at all. It's driving me crazy. That's why I go to fight her. HMPH, who knew she'd actually look forward to fighting me, treating it as a happy time." The Time Empress stared intently at Xiao Ye, her voice trembling, "Human Emperor, you must believe me. I used to be clingy, but now I love the Human Emperor. If you don't believe me, I'll give you my body when we get back." Xiao Ye nodded. "I believe you." He could tell from the Time Empress's expression that she truly had no feelings for the mad woman. That kind of gnashing hatred was pure resentment, devoid of any affection. The Time Empress used to be a clingy woman, adaptable to changing circumstances. She wasn't like Huangfu Xiangling, whose flaws stemmed from a fixed template. This clinginess was a psychological issue. Psychological issues change with time and experience. But this crazy woman liked Xiao Ye's wife, which greatly displeased him. Good heavens, my wife challenged you to a fight, and you dare to flirt with her? Xiao Ye's face turned cold, and he said, "Hey, crazy woman, is your soul male or female? You appear to be a stunningly beautiful woman with a curvaceous figure, but could it be that inside you resides the male soul of a greasy old man?" The fiery red-haired woman, exuding an aura of decay, replied matter-of-factly, "Of course, I'm female." "Fine, no time left. I'm not talking to you anymore." She gently raised her jade-like hand, and a high-level crystal filled with the aura of the origin of the rules of time appeared before her. A high-grade crystal floated before the Time Empress, and the mad woman spoke, "Time Empress, this is a time origin crystal of the sovereign realm. Perhaps it can cure the instability in your realm caused by your previous forced breakthrough." She then took out a delicate and ancient-looking box with divine runes from her pocket. Opening the box, she revealed a sovereign realm origin crystal brimming with life energy. This thing has the effect of healing injuries and hidden ailments. It has a high probability of curing the hidden ailments in your body. Finally, she pulled out a tiger-shaped food filled with lock patterns from the abyss in the middle of Gao Song's chest. She said regretfully, "I wanted to eat this with you and enter the bridal chamber together, but now, I don't need it anymore. This is a tiger-shaped food of the law of power. I'll give it to you as a wedding gift." After speaking, she gently waved her jade hand. The delicate box and the tiger-shaped food floated towards Xiao Ye and the Time Empress. And the clarity in her pupils was also corrupted by the corrupting laws, becoming completely dissipated. Xiao Ye looked at the three items and felt that it was not a good idea to accept them. But the Time Empress's beautiful eyes lit up. She grabbed the three items and put them in Xiao Ye's pocket, giggling, "Human Emperor, these are all good things. We can all use them." She smacked her lips and pouted her rosy lips, pressing them against Xiao Ye's. Her kiss was clumsy and awkward. The Time Empress's kiss was sweet, moist, and cool. Xiao Ye simply held her head, and little fish broke through her teeth, penetrating her lips. The Time Empress whimpered, but didn't push her away. The two kissed right in front of the fiery red-haired woman. The fiery red-haired woman's vacant pupils instantly regained their clarity, staring blankly at the two kissing. This little vixen actually had such a face. She could even show expressions of shyness, intoxication, and enjoyment. A bitter feeling welled up inside her. Was this little vixen and she ultimately destined to be apart? Alice, were all those hundreds of thousands of years of feelings just her one-sided unrequited love? She hadn't forgotten her initial feelings, she still loved the young woman. That affection hadn't faded with time or circumstance, but the young woman had long since abandoned that relationship and moved on to something new. So be it, it was too late. There was no need for her to stay. But the brief clarity in her pupils was like a final burst of energy before death. 2 seconds later, she utterly succumbed to decay, her pretty face contorted in a grotesque grimace, her beautiful eyes flashing with a most primal, beastly ferocity. Roar! The mad woman suddenly roared. Xiao Ye and the Time Empress separated, licking the glistening liquid from their lips. They stared at each other, their eyes locked in a silent exchange. Roar! The mad woman roared again, charging towards Xiao Ye and the Time Empress. Xiao Ye and the Time Empress finally snapped out of their daze. Damn it! I told this mad woman to leave, but I still have to deal with her. Xiao Ye was speechless. Empress Time shrank behind Xiao Ye, nervously saying, "Human Emperor, kill her. If you kill her, I'll let you do it when we get back." Xiao Ye raised an eyebrow. "So, if I don't kill her, you don't want to be with me?" Empress Time stamped her foot anxiously. "Of course not. I'll give myself to you no matter what. She's coming over. Are we just going to wait to die?" Xiao Ye remained calm, holding Empress Time as they flashed into the sky. The mad woman, consumed by decay, had lost all reason, resorting only to the most primitive and brutal fighting methods. After missing her target, she quickly located Xiao Ye and Empress Time and attacked. Chapter 666 Crazy Woman, Man, I want to follow you. Xiao Ye frowned, staring at the madwoman who was berserking like a wild beast, lost in thought. Should he kill this madwoman? Although she had feelings for the Time Empress, before succumbing to decay, she had offered 3 things to try and heal the Time Empress's hidden ailments and injuries. She had even offered them the tiger's bone of the law of power. He could use the world tree's aura to purify the decaying laws and restore the madwoman to normal. However, once she was back to normal, no one could guarantee that she wouldn't still cling to the Time Empress. In the past, he wouldn't have been able to control her. But now the Time Empress was his wife. He had to. Therefore, he had reservations. If he saved someone who was clinging to his wife, even if that person was an extremely beautiful woman with a great figure, long, fair legs, and jade-like feet. Activating Template Adjuster Probe Function. Template Adjuster Probe in Progress. Void Law Cultivator Law Defect. Abnormal control of the Void Law has led to defects in the laws she controls, damaging her foundation. The higher the realm, the greater the damage to her foundation, eventually leading to foundation collapse and death by body explosion. Solution: use the Template Adjuster to adjust the law defect. Body defect. 1. Corrupted by the decaying Dao law. 2. Emotional defect caused by the law defect, resulting in abnormal emotions, a liking for women. Solution: 1. Use the Purification Dao law to restore normalcy. 2. Use the massage secret technique to resolve the body defect and restore her orientation to normal. Xiao Ye was somewhat surprised. This crazy woman actually had a defect. Her orientation was abnormal, just like Huang Fu's Yanglings back then, except one was caused by a template defect, and the other by a defect in her control over her cultivation laws. Just as Xiao Ye was checking the probe results, a cursing voice echoed from the sky. Kid, a surprise is right in front of you, and you're completely unmoved. Humph, I'll have to make a move. Don't I have any pride? Fine, young people are too concerned with saving face. Let me handle this. A purifying force descended from the sky, landing on the madwoman who had lost her mind and descended into rage. Sizzle, the decaying aura of the Dao on the madwoman's body, upon encountering the purifying force, was like a lamb encountering a pack of wolves, quickly purified. The stunningly beautiful woman with flowing fiery red hair regained her normal complexion and her eyes cleared. The decay on her body also rapidly faded. Milliseconds later, she was completely back to normal. She examined herself in astonishment and exclaimed in surprise, I'm saved? Her body was back to normal, everything was restored to normal. Luzuki looked at Xiao Ye with a complicated expression and said, thank you for saving me, man. I owe you a favor, I want to follow you. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. The toothless old man had actually made a move. This was the first time the old man had intervened in Xiao Ye's affairs. The old man said this crazy woman was a surprise? This wasn't a surprise, it was a fright. A fright from someone coveting his wife? Xiao Ye waved his hand. Now that you've returned to normal, you should leave. Go back to your holy clan Starfield and don't come back. Luzuki pointed to the entrance to the desolate realm and said, the ancient desolate realm was born on the ancestral star of humanity, which will likely attract the attention and invasion of all the major star races. Can you handle it alone? Do you need my help? Xiao Ye, how can you help me? Luzuki glanced at the cold-faced Empress of Time a few times and was speechless. I can help you take care of the Empress of Time. Her beautiful eyes lit up. You also need comrades in arms. I can be your comrade in arms and resist the invasion of the myriad star races. The Empress of Time snorted coldly, take care of me? Are you worthy? We can stop the myriad star races ourselves. We don't need your help. Xiao Ye thought to himself, having a helper wouldn't be bad. But this madwoman coveted the Time Empress and harbored ill intentions. Just then, a deafening roar shook the air. A gigantic beast resembling a wolfhound emerged from the rift in the desolate realm. Behind it followed a large, fat cat. Luzuki immediately stepped forward, exclaiming joyfully, man. Leave these two beasts to me, I'll handle them. Heavenly dog, I just severed half your body, and you've recovered so quickly. This time, I'll make sure your soul is annihilated. And that big cat, leave it here too. The wolfhound was surprised. This woman, infected by the aura of the corrupting Dao, had actually returned to normal. Boss, this person is definitely related to the World Tree. Let's capture her and torture her severely. The big cat looked at the madwoman's face and figure and chuckled, I happen to need a maid. Luzuki was furious. A maid? Only a little wench stronger and more outstanding than me can make me her maid. You can get lost. She raised her hand and unleashed a void law divine power. A mysterious and profound divine power was unleashed like a cannonball. The big cat, however, remained unhurried, its tail flicking lightly as it unleashed another divine power based on the void law. Boom. The two void law divine powers clashed, annihilating each other. Luzuki's expression turned solemn. You're a void law desolate beast, at the 10th level of the Dominator realm, she said. You're 2 minor levels higher than me. She bluntly declared, "Men, I can't beat this desolate beast." Xiao Ye's lips twitched. Good grief, he offered to help, but couldn't do anything. Xiao Ye, with his arm around the Time Empress's slender waist, smiled faintly. A 10th level Dominator Realm desolate beast? Then let it stay. The toothless old man had said that killing a desolate beast could yield something related to the core of the world tree that could mend the world. He wondered if this big cat possessed anything like that. Time slash cuts off the opponent's lifespan. Xiao Ye raised his hand, unleashing a divine power based on the law of time. A divine power of time slashed out, formless and intangible, undetectable. The big cat's expression changed, and it hurriedly dodged. But the celestial dog didn't notice, and the scythe of time slicing arrived in an instant. In a flash, the celestial dog's magnificent body became flat, its flesh disappeared, turning into a skeleton, which then turned into powder and dissipated into the air. In one fell swoop, the celestial dog's lifespan of 500,000 years was severed. It fell to the ground and turned to ash. Damn it, the big cat exclaimed, that son of a bitch, he's so powerful. A human who cultivates the laws of time. Damn it, this male dog said there was only one woman who practiced the laws of the void. How come a man has appeared? Let's run. It's too dangerous outside. Let's ask the big shots to come out. The big cat's fur stood on end, and it quickly headed towards the rift in the desolate realm, wanting to run back to the desolate realm. But Luzuki watched its every move and suddenly made her move. She unleashed her strongest void divine power. Sizzle sizzle sizzle. The void divine power landed directly on the unsuspecting big cat's head, turning the big cat's head into nothingness. With a splash, the headless cat's body fell to the ground, landing on the turbulent surface of the Pacific Ocean. Xiao Ye exclaimed in surprise, this madwoman actually managed to be of help. Just then, a crystal brimming with the aura of the Void Law's origin floated out from the cat's body. The core of the Void Law's origin. Chapter 667 Replacing the World Tree Core. Xiao Ye picked up the crystal. It felt heavy and cool, like metal. What is this? Can it repair the defects in the core of the world tree? The Time Empress frowned, pondering. I think I've seen a record of this somewhere, but it's been too long, I've forgotten. Extremely high level, the major cosmic races would fight tooth and nail for it. Luzuki, with her flowing fiery red hair, widened her eyes in astonishment. Her eyes gleamed with a hungry thirst, and she was incredibly excited. This is the core of the Void Law, she exclaimed. The seed that can give birth to the original body of the Void Law. If a cosmic being refines and consumes it, there's a high probability they'll develop an innate Void Law physique, receiving the favor of the cosmic Void Law's origin. Their cultivation will be unimpeded throughout their life, making them powerful and monstrous. Millions of years ago, two great cosmic races fought a bloody war over a core of spatial laws, plunging over 1,000 star regions into chaos and causing the deaths of hundreds of billions of beings. This thing is a treasure for Void Law cultivators, possessing an irresistible and fatal allure. Luzuki moved closer, her delicate face almost pressed against Xiao Ye's hand, her beautiful eyes fixed on the Void Law core, her small, red tongue licking her lips thirstily. Xiao Ye's rough hands could feel Luzuki's heavy breathing. He chuckled, you want it? Luzuki nodded vigorously, her eyes burning with desire. Yes, of course I want it. Can you give it to me? Xiao Ye swiftly put away the Void Law core, shook his head, no. Luzuki's expression froze, then she said angrily, then why did you ask me? Xiao Ye waved his hand, go away, I saved your life, and you killed the Void Law great cat beast for me, we're even. Don't like the Time Empress anymore, she's a married woman. The Time Empress puffed out her chest, that's right, crazy woman, get lost. Luzuki rolled her eyes. The Time Empress, the Void Law core, she wanted them all. But now the Time Empress had a man, had abandoned her, and she had no reason to stay here. Luzuki pondered, a man. You don't want the major cosmic races to know that the beast could drop a law core, do you? Xiao Ye was taken aback. This crazy woman, who was living a very comfortable life, was actually threatening him. Xiao Ye chuckled coldly, the supreme aura of the desolate realm will be detected by the cosmic races sooner or later. Even if you don't inform the cosmic races of this, they will come to Blue Star and discover this secret. Luzuki pouted in boredom, speechless, man. Then I'll stay here guarding the desolate realm, kill a few desolate beasts, and exchange other law cores for you, okay? I need a Void Law core, really. Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. Sure, then you stay here guarding it. The Time Empress and I are going back to wash up. What a joke. If a desolate beast appears in the desolate realm, he will detect it immediately and rush over to kill it. What chance would this crazy woman have? But if this crazy woman stays here, doesn't run around, and doesn't spread the news, that would be great. Ideally, she'd stay for hundreds or thousands of years. Luzuki's eyes were complicated, and she looked at the Time Empress with some reluctance, her gaze lingering. Empress of Time, I will always love you, until death. You go with this man. I will silently bless you both. The Empress of Time rolled her eyes. Who needs your blessing, you crazy woman? Xiao Ye, let's go. She grabbed Xiao Ye's arm and followed him away, returning to the Mengxuan base city. Beneath the towering, robust world tree, Xiao Ye and the Empress of Time appeared. The world tree was now much larger than when it was first planted, its branches and leaves covering almost 90% of Blue Star. The remaining 10% was the Pacific Ocean desolate rift. For some reason, it hadn't covered that area. With the world tree covering most of Blue Star should have been plunged into darkness, unable to receive sunlight. But the sunlight penetrated the world tree's leaves and branches, falling on the earth as usual. The world tree was tangible but lacked spirit, like the rules and origins on its surface, possessing the aura of various attribute rules and origins, but in reality, it lacked the power of those rules and origins. This was the missing piece in the world tree's core. Xiao Ye took out a void law core, the fist-sized crystal automatically floated upwards and merged into the world tree. On the vast world tree, the void law's origin began to take shape, its power solidifying. In an instant, Xiao Ye felt the world tree's call. A realization dawned on him. He could mobilize the world tree's purifying power, freely unleashing it within the Milky Way galaxy. He could also mobilize the world tree's void law origin. Xiao Ye also had a feeling. Within the Milky Way galaxy, some newborn infants and cubs had developed a void law affinity meridian within their bodies, and their unawakened templates had gained the void attribute. Especially on Blue Star. Many newborn human and magical beast cubs on Blue Star had their unawakened templates gain the void attribute. These would be the lucky ones, born with top-tier SSS level potential and aptitude. Newborn cubs or embryos developing in the womb within the Mengxuan base city have increased potential in their void attribute, reaching the quasi-mythical level. Xiao Ye pondered. If he took a liking to someone, he could directly raise the potential of the cub's void attribute template to the mythical level. This was even before the world tree had fully recovered its void law origin after absorbing the core of the void law. If it were fully recovered, its aptitude and potential could even reach the top level of the mythical level. Or even surpass the mythical level and reach the Great Dao level. Great Dao level, Xiao Ye's pupils contracted. His aptitude hadn't even reached that level yet. The template adjuster could continue to improve his and the Beast Girl's template level, that is, the comprehensive rating of potential, combat power, aptitude, etc. But he couldn't find the resources needed to upgrade the template from the mythical level to the Great Dao level, so he didn't upgrade the template level. For now, the mythical level template was enough. With the existence of the time-space hall, the template level was no longer a factor that determined the speed of cultivation. The old dean suddenly appeared, his wrinkled face approaching within 1 centimeter of Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye was almost startled. Grandpa Dean, you're a pervert. You suddenly appeared and got so close. Let me tell you, I'm not gay, I like beautiful women. The old dean's lips twitched. I know you like beautiful women. I came here to remind you of some things, so you won't regret it later. Xiao Ye raised an eyebrow. What is it? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 668, A Plan to Enhance a Great Dao Level Talent. The old dean's expression turned solemn. That desolate realm is a microcosm of a great universe after its decay and collapse. Most of those existing in the desolate realm are either powerless or powerful but lack ambition. But the surviving beasts all possess a core of rules within them. Some decaying beings, instead of hiding in the desolate realm to await death, went to the depths of the universe to find a way to live a second life. Some of those beings have a very high probability of joining the great cosmic races. Now that the desolate realm has emerged, those beings can immediately sense its aura, even the aura of the world tree. Xiao Ye understood. The old man was reminding him that enemies weren't only in the desolate realm, but also among the great cosmic races. He needed to guard against those enemies as soon as possible. The old dean continued, the core of the law can replenish the core of the world tree for you, and it's also an innate treasure for the great races of the universe. The world tree is the same, it has a fatal attraction for the great races of the universe and the wild beasts. Right now, you need to become stronger quickly to have the strength to face the approaching great races of the universe and the powerful wild beasts in the desolate realm. The sovereign realm is not strong enough. As he spoke, the old dean's hunched figure gradually faded. After speaking, his figure completely faded and disappeared. Xiao Ye stroked his chin, pondering for a moment, feeling it was still necessary to improve the talents of each beast girl. Mythical level might not be enough. Raising them to the Great Dao level would maximize their cultivation speed and allow for rapid advancement. He waved for the Time Empress to come over. The Time Empress blinked, gracefully leaning closer. Human Emperor, what are your orders? Xiao Ye smiled, close your eyes and stand still. The Time Empress's beautiful eyes lit up, and she immediately closed them. Her exquisite face was full of anticipation. She gently tilted her head back, pouting slightly, her trembling eyelashes revealing her inner turmoil. Xiao Ye's mind stirred, template adjuster investigating, time law cultivator, talent, mythical level 2nd tier, upgradable, no physical defects, talent can be upgraded. The template adjuster is at the level of the Great Dao origin, almost the highest tier treasure. Mythical level talent is not the end. Upgradable panel displayed, time law cultivator, mythical level talent is divided into 3 tiers. The first tier is ordinary mythical level, the second tier is genius mythical level, and the third tier is monstrous mythical level, also known as top tier mythical level talent. Talent can be directly upgraded to the first tier of the Great Dao level. Required resources: 10 time law cores. 10 time law cores? Xiao Ye's face darkened. After absorbing and refining a law core, one's talent and affinity for the law are already enhanced. The talent enhancement plan provided by the template device actually requires 10 law cores. Even absorbing a law core and integrating a law core into the template adjuster are completely different concepts. He didn't know how many wild beasts were in the desolate realm, but obtaining a law core was extremely difficult. The Time Empress pouted her rosy lips, waiting for a certain man's favor, but after waiting for more than 10 seconds, nothing happened. She opened her eyes and saw Xiao Ye's unpleasant expression. The Time Empress's heart skipped a beat, and her face immediately turned pale. The human emperor, he doesn't like me? I've already given it all to him, and he still rejects me. The Time Empress's eyes welled with tears, turning red, and she stubbornly declared, Human Emperor, I will make you fall in love with me. HMPH. Since I've decided to marry you, I will never change my mind. I'll go persuade Big Sister first. She vanished without a trace. Xiao Ye was dumbfounded. What was the Time Empress doing? He hadn't said he disliked her. His earlier bad expression was simply because he was looking at the talent enhancement plan provided by the template adjuster. No, that girl can't just leave like this, he has to bring her back. Xiao Ye reached out. Following the trajectory of the Time Empress's time factors, he grabbed her with both hands and pulled her into his arms. Ouch! The Time Empress exclaimed in surprise, caught in Xiao Ye's embrace. The Time Empress was bewildered. Did the human emperor reject her? Why was he bringing her back? Xiao Ye looked at her speechlessly and said, I never said I didn't like you, and I've never disliked you. Don't overthink it. I was thinking about other things just now, and I was in a bad mood. The emperor likes me. He doesn't dislike me. That's great. The Time Empress's beautiful eyes lit up, inwardly delighted, but outwardly she pouted in dissatisfaction and huffed. Emperor, I've already closed my eyes and pouted, waiting for your favor. But you're thinking about other things. HMPH. As she spoke, she closed her eyes, pouted her rosy lips again, and slightly raised her chin. Xiao Ye understood, she was hungry. Xiao Ye immediately pressed his lips against hers, giving her a series of kisses. Half an hour later, the Time Empress was numb from the kisses, her lips swollen. She opened her panicked eyes and mumbled, Rinhuang, my kisses are too hot, let me go. I can't take it anymore, my lips are so swollen. Xiao Ye said in a low voice, how can that be? Aren't you hungry? I'll satisfy you all at once. Let's continue. The Time Empress struggled, but couldn't bear to push him away. Since she couldn't struggle, she might as well enjoy it. So, she gave up struggling. Half an hour later, Xiao Ye finally released the Time Empress, wiped the drool from his face, whose saliva he didn't know, and laughed. "Time Empress, are you in a better mood now?" The Time Empress rolled her eyes resentfully. Her originally delicate, rosy lips were now swollen. She had been kissed by Xiao Ye for almost an hour, and her lips were swollen. Satisfied. "Human Emperor, I'm in a great mood. I need to go talk to Big Sister now, see you tonight," she said hurriedly, fleeing as if escaping, afraid that Xiao Ye would kiss her again and swell her lips. This time it was her lips that were swollen, next time who knows where it would be. Xiao Ye focused his attention on the talent enhancement plan given by the template adjuster. Upgrading from the second tier of mythical level to the Great Dao level requires 10 law cores, so the first tier of mythical level should require even fewer law cores. But enhancing talent requires law cores. Relying solely on the few scattered wild beasts that come out of the desolate realm to obtain law cores is not enough. At this moment, the template adjuster sent a message to Xiao Ye, "Host needs detected." The function of extracting rule fragments has been automatically extended, extension successful. Killing rule cultivators of the relevant attributes, or rule magical beasts of the relevant attributes, will extract law core fragments. 3 law core fragments can be combined into 1 law core. Xiao Ye smiled. Okay. The template adjuster may have always had this function, but it just hadn't been shown before. Now that it's being shown, it directly addresses his difficulties and needs. Chapter 669 Time Empress, Human Emperor, you've got me cornered. This function is extremely practical. Previously, extracting rule fragments was done by directly slaying ferocious beasts. Now, it's about extracting rule core fragments, which can be obtained by directly slaying law cultivators or law cultivating ferocious beasts. A law core requires 3 core fragments to synthesize. It seems tedious, but it's easier than killing wild beasts. Killing wild beasts requires waiting for them to emerge from the desolate realm. However, there are countless law cultivators or magical beasts in the universe. His divine sense extended, and at this moment, Luzuki with her fiery red hair was still squatting pitifully beside the rift in the desolate realm, waiting for the next wild beast to descend. Xiao Ye shook his head and withdrew his divine sense. Many powerful wild beasts exist in the desolate realm. If a powerful wild beast were to suddenly appear, Luzuki would surely die. At this stage, his goal is to kill ferocious beasts above the Emperor realm to obtain law core fragments and synthesize a law core. Furthermore, he wants the beast girls to continue cultivating in the time-space hall. The sovereign realm level is no longer sufficient. He teleported to the primordial queen's manor in the wilderness space city. There, the time empress was sharing in the primordial queen's joy. The primordial queen, seeing the time empress's swollen lips, gasped and exclaimed, "Hiss, sister, did you eat a red-hot iron? Why are your lips so swollen?" The time empress rolled her eyes. "You're the one who ate a hot iron. My lips are swollen from being kissed." Yes, that person was the human emperor. The human emperor said he liked me and rewarded me handsomely. Look, my swollen lips are the mark. The time empress laughed happily. The primordial queen was astonished. How long had she been kissed? How hard had she kissed to make her lips swell like that? Wait a minute. You mean, you were kissed swollen by the human emperor? The primordial queen finally realized, her beautiful eyes lighting up. The time empress proudly raised her head. Yes, I'm so charming that I bewitched the human emperor. He kissed me for an hour before he'd let me go. Human emperor, you're something else. The primordial goddess exclaimed in delight. Wow, sister, you're amazing. Have you gained the approval of the big sister yet? The time empress's smile froze. No. I haven't gone to see the big sister yet. I haven't even figured out what to say. If I go rashly and anger the big sister, it'll be troublesome. At this moment, Xiao Ye appeared behind the time empress. The primordial goddess stood up and said gracefully, "Husband, you've come." Panic flashed in the time empress's eyes. Oh no, the human emperor isn't going to kiss her again, is he? She can't take it. Xiao Ye hugged the primordial daughter, kissed her on the cheek, and said, "Let's go have dinner at Huang Fu Xiangling's place. I'll spend the whole day with you. I have things to do tomorrow." The primordial daughter nodded, "Okay." The time empress said weakly, "Human emperor, what about me?" Xiao Ye glanced at her and said, "Go find Binxi." Yesterday was my wedding with the primordial daughter and Huangfu Xiangling, and I have to accompany them today. It's not appropriate for you to get involved. Anyway, you were the matchmaker, Grandpa Dean, who brought us together. Binksy and the others shouldn't reject you. Just bring up Grandpa Dean. The Time Empress nodded and turned to leave. Wait. Xiao Ye said, help your lips heal back to normal before you go. With them swollen like this, Binksy and the others will definitely think I've cheated on them. Oh. The Time Empress was somewhat reluctant. This was the mark of her first kiss with a human emperor. But since the human emperor had said so, she had no choice but to do as he said. Her lips were just swollen, she used her energy to heal them, and in milliseconds they returned to their original moist, natural, and sexy state, instead of looking like they'd been branded with a hot iron. The Time Empress headed out of the manor. The city lord's mansion was nearby, and she would walk there, but before she went, she needed to prepare some gifts. The gifts didn't need to be expensive, but rather the sentiment behind them. Xiao Ye, holding the hand of the ancestral goddess, arrived at the large manor next door. These new manors were located around the city lord's mansion, relatively close by. The large manor next door was where Huangfu Xiangling's family lived. Before even entering, Xiao Ye and the ancestral goddess smelled the unique aroma of rice cooked over firewood, a distinctive earthy scent. Exclamations of surprise echoed from within the manor. Oh dear, Xiangling, you can just wait for us in the living room. You're so delicate, how could you possibly cook? Look, you've gotten all dirty. That's right, cooking is our forte. The Huangfu family recruited us as maids back then precisely because they valued our cooking skills. HMPH, your mother and I may not cook for a state banquet, but the taste is just as good. Stepmother, mommy, I want to learn to cook too. If I learn, I can cook for Xiao Ye and be a good wife and mother. He'll be out there working hard, and I'll be at home cooking and cleaning. Nonsense. Who lets the emperor cook? You should stand beside your son-in-law and work hard alongside him. Yes, in the era of beast girls, how could men earn money to support the family while women are beautiful? We all fight together, cultivate together, and grow together. Women shouldn't contribute less than men. Oh, I was just saying, don't criticize me. Xiao Ye and the Time Empress stood at the door, quietly listening to Huangfu Xiangling chatting and playing with her mother and stepmother. They exchanged a glance, seeing the smile in each other's eyes. Huangfu Xiangling, who had lacked a childhood, now had a warm family, and a good one at that, with very positive values. The two were happy for Huangfu Xiangling. Oh, Xiao Ye, you're here? Huangfu Xiangling, her face blackened by the smoke from the firewood, happily ran out and threw herself into Xiao Ye's arms, rubbing her soot-covered face against him. Xiao Ye watched as she unintentionally wiped the filth all over his clothes, and said somewhat helplessly, Xiangling, I've come over for a meal with the ancestor goddess, just to get together. Are you welcoming us? Huangfu Xiangling raised her delicate, fair face, having wiped the filth away, and complained, what do you mean, welcome or not welcome? This is your home, after all. You're my husband, and the ancestor goddess is my sister. Come on over, it's our home. Xiao Ye and the ancestor goddess smiled. They entered the living room. Huangfu Xiangling's mother and stepmother carried in bowls of local dishes and placed them on the table. Son-in-law, you and Xiangling chat for a bit, we'll cook the food right away, her mother-in-law said with a smile. Xiao Ye nodded. Soon, bowls of local dishes filled half the table, more than 10 plates in total, all very distinctive dishes from the surrounding areas of the capital. Xiao Ye and the progenitor Wang accompanied Huangfu Xiangling's family for a very pleasant meal, and even shared a few drinks with Huangfu Xiangling's mother and stepmother. The meal was quickly finished in a warm and cozy atmosphere. Chapter 670 The Time Empress Seeks Approval. Xiao Ye could clearly sense it. Huangfu Xiangling's face was beaming with smiles, and she was almost always happy throughout a meal. The broken family had been reunited, a broken mirror mended, allowing Huangfu Xiangling to rediscover maternal love. Her gaze towards him was almost tender. She loved and cared for him even more. When his clothes were dirty, she personally took them off, making sure they were washed and dried. Even though the first empress didn't mind the rice grains on his lips, Huangfu Xiangling immediately picked them up and ate them herself. After drinking, she immediately prepared hangover soup for everyone. Although the taste wasn't great, her intentions were sincere. After the meal, Xiao Ye chatted with Huangfu Xiangling and her stepmother for a while before Huangfu Xiangling pulled him into the bedroom of the Time-Space Palace villa. She threw herself onto him, inhaling his unique masculine scent with ecstasy, and said infatuatedly, "Xiao Ye, you're so good to me, I don't know how to repay you." "How do you want me to repay you?" Xiao Ye affectionately pinched her little nose and smiled, "No need for repayment." Huangfu Xiangling shook her head, "No, I must repay you, otherwise I'll feel indebted to you." Xiao Ye said helplessly, "If you insist on saying that, then work hard at cultivation. Our blue star will face a great crisis, and the Dominator realm is not enough. Not just you, all the beast girls must work hard at cultivation." Huangfu Xiangling nodded heavily, "I will work hard at cultivation. But before that, I want to reward you." She took off her clothes, revealing her delicate and fair body, and slowly helped Xiao Ye remove his armor. Then she directly pounced on Xiao Ye on the soft couch, murmuring, "I want him." On the other side, the Time Empress took out her treasured dragon's brew, an ancient wine aged for 100,000 years, in 2 bottles. She placed them in an exquisite box, and carrying the bag, she walked nervously into the Mangyuanbei City Lord's mansion. Outsiders are not allowed. Unexpectedly, the guards at the entrance of the City Lord's mansion stopped her. The Time Empress politely said, "I am a friend of your young master, here to visit him." The guard gave a signal, and another guard ran into the City Lord's mansion to inquire. 10 minutes later, the guard returned, cupping his fists and saying, "Madam, please come with me." The Time Empress, carrying the bag, walked smoothly inside and followed the guard to the rear hall of the City Lord's mansion. Inside the rear hall, the Changbingxi and Nanguang Xiao families were having lunch together. Nanguang Xiao complained, "Xiao Ye is really something, he's already home and hasn't even come to eat." Changbingxi said helplessly, "He's newly married, probably with his bride." Chengqi coughed, "That kid's really grown up now, marrying so many beast girls, he definitely can't focus all his energy on you." Nanguang Kitao nodded, "Yes, you should be more understanding of him." The guards led the Time Empress in and announced, "City Lord, Deputy City Lord, the young master's friend has arrived." Nanguang Kitao and Chengqi stood up to greet her, their eyes widening in surprise. "Isn't this the Mu family's daughter? Little girl, come, have a meal with us." Nanguang Xiao affectionately pulled the Time Empress to sit down, saying, "Kingsu, why bring a gift? It's too formal." The Time Empress shook her head, took out the gift, and introduced, "Uncles, I'm not Mu Kingsu. I'm the Time Empress. This is Dragon's Brew, which I collected 100,000 years ago. It's an ancient wine brewed by the Void Saint clan using a perfected Emperor-level dragon. It's said to have health benefits and tastes quite good." Nanguang Xiao was dumbfounded. "The Time Empress?" Changbingxi remained calm and said, "She is indeed the Time Empress. Her mannerisms are somewhat different from Kingsu's." Nanguang Kitao and Chengqi each took a bottle of wine filled with mysterious runes, their faces showing shock. "This wine is actually 100,000 years old?" "Hiss, 100,000 years? Blue Star is still in the ancient era. Time Empress, can I open it and take a look?" Chengqi swallowed hard, excitedly asking. The Time Empress smiled and said, "Since I gave it to you 2 uncles, this wine is yours. Of course, you can open it." Chengqi pulled out the cork. Roar! A majestic dragon roar came from the bottle, echoing throughout the entire City Lord's mansion. A phantom dragon figure moved within the bottle. The ancient, mellow aroma of the wine filled the entire rear hall. Hiss! A phantom of a dragon. This is indeed an ancient wine, over 10,000 years old. Chengqi and Nanguang Kitao gasped. Nanguang Kitao waved his hand, and a pretty maidservant immediately handed him a wine pot. But deep in the maidservant's eyes, a hint of greed flashed. She secretly grabbed Nanguang Kitao's hand and gave him a flirtatious wink. Nanguang Kitao's face turned cold, and he reprimanded, "This is the second time you've crossed the line. The first time I thought it was unintentional, but now you've done it again. I'm confining you for a month. You should reflect on your actions and repent while you're in confinement. Go home after a month. You're no longer suitable to be my maid." The pretty maid looked surprised and hurriedly said, "Master, I didn't mean to. This wine pot is too slippery. I wanted you to hold it more firmly." Nanguang Kitao's expression softened, and he waved his hand, "Then forget it. You didn't mean it either. I'll forgive you this once more. If there's a next time, I'll expel you from the City Lord's mansion." The pretty maid's eyes were full of disdain, but on the surface she said gratefully, "Thank you for your understanding, city lord." Nangguang Kitao snorted coldly, carefully picked up the ancient wine bottle, dripped a drop of dragon's brew into the wine pot, and then poured in 1,000-year-old treasured wine to dilute it. The extremely rich aroma of the wine immediately filled every corner of the entire back hall. He poured everyone a cup of diluted dragon's bone wine, saying happily, "Everyone, have a cup and taste the flavor of this 100,000-year-old ancient wine, haha." Cheng Keek's eyes gleamed with thirst, and he downed the diluted wine in one gulp. Their faces flushed, and they exclaimed happily, "Good, this wine is excellent, truly worthy of being a 100,000-year-old ancient wine." After saying that, Nangguang Kitao and Cheng Keek collapsed drunkenly onto the table and fell fast asleep. Cheng Bingxi sighed helplessly. Nangguang Xiao's face was blank. Their mother said, "You two chat, we're going inside. This rascal just loves to drink, now he's showing his true colors." They carried their husbands away. Nangguang Kitao's pretty maid, however, stayed behind, a madness surfacing deep in her eyes. Cheng Bingxi spoke coldly, "Empress of Time, why have you brought such a valuable gift here?" Nangguang Xiao nodded, "What is it? Speak." The Empress of Time frowned, glancing at the pretty maid, sensing a familiar aura about her. She withdrew her gaze, somewhat nervously saying, "Big sister, Sister Xiao, I've come to express my feelings. I love the human emperor, and I want to marry him." Nangguang Xiao was taken aback. "Huh? You also want to marry Xiao Ye?" Cheng Bingxi's expression turned serious, a knowing look on her face, and she said coldly, "I knew it." Chapter 671 Approval. Facing Cheng Bingxi's calm gaze, the Time Empress felt immense pressure, dozens of times greater than the pressure from the mad woman. The Time Empress grew even more anxious and nervous. "Can I be with a human emperor?" she asked nervously. Cheng Bingxi's gaze scrutinized her. Nangguang Xiao exclaimed, "Empress of Time, you're a goddess. How could you want to be with a human man? And you look so much like King Su. Xiao Ye already has Mu King Su, why would he want you?" The Empress of Time said awkwardly, "Mu King Su is the reincarnation of a wisp of my consciousness that separated many years ago. That's why Mu King Su and I look so alike." Nangguang Xiao was taken aback. "Reincarnation? No wonder." Cheng Bingxi asked calmly, "Do you like Xiao Ye? Why do you want to be with Xiao Ye?" The Empress of Time was bewildered, saying, "Before, I just thought he was charming, a powerful figure, and I wanted to cling to him. Now, my feelings have changed. His face flashes through my mind from time to time, and I don't know if what I feel for him is love. But I want to be with him." Nangguang Xiao nodded, "Then you must like him. Liking someone means you unconsciously think of them, want to talk to them, chat with them, kiss them, play sports with them." The Empress of Time's gaze hardened. "Then I like the human emperor." Cheng Bingxi sighed. Another deity had taken a liking to Xiao Ye. That lecherous Xiao Ye had no resistance to such stunning beauties. He could easily get her into bed with a mere flick of his wrist. Cheng Bingxi asked, "Empress of Time, have you confessed your feelings to Xiao Ye? How does he feel about you? Is he lusting after your body, or does he like you as a person?" The Empress of Time smiled and said, "The human emperor accepted me, said he likes me a little, and even." She didn't dare say the last part aloud. Otherwise, it would arouse the eldest sister's jealousy, and a drop in her impression score would be terrible. Cheng Bingxi sighed, "You two like each other and are going to be together, why are you asking for my opinion? You're already together." The Time Empress hurriedly waved her hand, "No, I'm not completely together with a human emperor, we haven't had much in-depth contact, I just expressed my feelings. The human emperor hasn't cheated on you. And I haven't given myself to the human emperor yet." Nangguang Xiao sneered, "Xiao Ye still has some conscience, he hasn't been seeing outsiders behind their backs. We already have so many beast girls, they can just come to us if they need anything. As for you, Time Empress, I'm sorry, you can't marry Xiao Ye." The Time Empress's face paled. Cheng Bingxi hesitated, "Xiao, don't be so absolute. We can agree to the Time Empress and Xiao Ye wanting to be together, but there's a condition, we must understand your personality, hobbies, and habits first. If you and Xiao Ye aren't compatible and conflicts arise, it's bound to get ugly." The Time Empress's expression softened slightly, saying, "Actually, the reason the human emperor and I were able to be together was because Grandpa Dean acted as matchmaker." Grandpa Dean found me and wanted me to marry the human emperor. Cheng Bingxi? Nangguangxiao. The two women's expressions changed. Grandpa Dean? You've met Grandpa Dean? The Time Empress nodded. Yes, I've met Grandpa Dean twice, once in the starry sky and once at the entrance of the orphanage, just this morning. When I was wandering around Mangyeongbei City this morning, Grandpa Dean called me to the orphanage, saying he wanted to talk to me. Later I found out that he wanted me to marry the human emperor. Cheng Bingxi and Nangguangxiao fell silent. The fact that the dean was still alive surprised them, but he actually wanted the Time Empress to marry Xiao Ye. Why? He couldn't possibly give such a beautiful woman like the Time Empress to his grandson after only 2 meetings. Wait, Time Empress? You said you saw the dean in the starry sky? Cheng Bingxi frowned. The dean is just an ordinary person without any cultivation. Why would he appear in the starry sky? The Time Empress was stunned. The dean is the embodiment of the great will of this universe, a supreme being with unparalleled cultivation. You didn't know? Unbelievable. The Empress of the human emperor didn't know that the human emperor's grandfather was a supreme being? What? The embodiment of the great will of the universe. My God, the dean is so awesome. Cheng Bingxi and Nangguangxiao were extremely shocked. They had seen the dean before, but he always seemed like an ordinary old man, the kind of frail old man who was about to die. They never expected that the dean's identity was so amazing. The Time Empress replied, yes, the human emperor told me this. I was also very shocked when I first heard this information. Damn it. Nangguangxiao exclaimed angrily, that bastard Xiao Ye, he didn't even tell us such important information. I'll make him pay. Yes, punish him severely, make him bedridden. Cheng Bingxi didn't think about these things, her gaze was fixed on the Time Empress with suspicion. What the Time Empress said was most likely true, there was no need to lie. She and Xiao Ye could easily verify the truth. But if Grandpa Dean was the embodiment of the universe's great will, why would he introduce the Time Empress to Xiao Ye? Did the Time Empress possess something Xiao Ye needed? Or perhaps Grandpa Dean admired the Time Empress? The Time Empress said nervously, Big sister, I'll be going now. I will try my best to gain your approval. She got up to leave. Cheng Bingxi spoke up, wait. Since Grandpa Dean has agreed, I'll find a good day to hold your wedding with Xiao Ye, and you can marry him. You're calling me big sister now, welcome to the Beast Girl family, she laughed. Nangguangxiao reacted, welcome. Grandpa Dean held a position of authority in their hearts as an elder, Xiao Ye's grandfather, his words were not to be questioned. The Time Empress smiled, bowed deeply, and said, thank you, big sister, thank you, sister Xiao. Cheng Bingxi and Nangguangxiao nodded and introduced themselves. My name is Cheng Bingxi, I'm the head of the Beast Girl family, Xiao Ye's childhood sweetheart. I've seen him pee as a child. I'll introduce you to the other sisters sometime. Sister Time Empress, I haven't seen Xiao Ye pee as a child, but I'm his second Beast Girl, and also a native of Mangyeongbei City. The Time Empress also introduced herself. She was the first deity born millions of years ago, after the primitive humans of the Blue Star's ancestral planet left the Milky Way. After the introductions, the Time Empress turned her gaze to the maid and said coldly, Big sister, Sister Xiao, something's wrong with this maid. I've sensed a similar aura on the Void Saint clan before. This kind of aura has never appeared on Blue Star before. This person may have been possessed by someone from the Void Saint clan. Cheng Bingxi and Nangguangxiao's expressions changed drastically. Chapter 672 The Void Saint clan and the Demon clan invade. Cheng Bingxi's 5th level Dominator realm aura swept out, directly suppressing the maid to the ground. She coldly asked, who are you? What is your purpose in coming to Blue Star? Nangguangxiao and the Time Empress stared coldly at her. The pretty maid's face showed panic, and she cried out in alarm, Miss, I'm from Mangyeongbei City. I've never left Blue Star. The Time Empress snorted coldly and questioned, Blue Star couldn't possibly have this kind of spiritual aura on you. Stop making excuses, speak. You possessed a maid, what is your purpose? The pretty maid glanced at Nangguangxiao and Cheng Bingxi, seeing that they both firmly believed she had been possessed. So, she stopped pretending. She stood up directly, the 5th level Dominator realm aura utterly ineffective against her. A smirk crookedly appeared on the maid's lips, her pupils glowing crimson. I'm laying my cards on the table, I'm not pretending anymore. What kind of damn little maid is this? I'm not serving you anymore. How we? The world tree has appeared on humanity's ancestral planet, and the desolate realm has emerged. This news will spread throughout all the great races of the universe. Your blue star is about to be invaded by all the great races of the universe. Ho ha ho ha. The pretty little maid's eyes dimmed, a red light emanating from her body as she flew towards the sky. Cheng Bingxi snorted coldly and directly activated a thought imprint, divine power, covering the entire ozone layer of blue star. The red light collided with the blue star ozone layer, trying to escape. It was directly struck by the thought imprint. Submit. A calm voice came from the wilderness-based city, reaching the red light beside the ozone layer. Come back. The red light struggled, reflecting the ferocious face of the demonic beast. No, I can't go back. I must report to the holy race that the world tree has matured. No matter how much he struggled, his movements caused him to fly back towards the Mangyeon-based city. A few seconds later, before Cheng Bingxi, Nangguang Xiao, and the Time Empress, a magical beast soul knelt on the ground, saying, Master. Cheng Bingxi said calmly, tell me your purpose, where you come from. The magical beast soul nodded, its expression numb, and said, I come from the Void Saint clan's demon race. 2 days ago, the demon lord ordered me to infiltrate Blue Star, find out the situation there, and relay the message back. Cheng Bingxi's expression changed. The Void Saint clan, it sounded like a major clan in the universe. If Blue Star were invaded, the Dragon Kingdom would definitely suffer. Have you conveyed your message to the demon clan? The demonic beast soul replied, I've already sent the message back twice. The demon lord ordered me to continue lying low, saying he'll be coming to Blue Star soon. After this soul of mine dies, the demon lord will know of my death immediately. Please, master, don't kill me, I can be your inside man. The Time Empress spoke up, the human emperor has already set up a dominator realm barrier in the Milky Way. Once there's a large-scale invasion, the barrier will issue an early warning. But if someone uses stealth or smuggling skills to enter the barrier, we won't be able to detect them. If this demonic beast is loyal enough, it'll be good to use it as an inside man. Cheng Bingxi nodded. She used another Dominator Realm rule-based divine ability, Thought Imprint, and implanted it into the demonic beast's soul. Report on movements of the Void Saint Clan demonic beast's trace at any time. You don't need to use this body anymore. The demonic beast's soul respectfully replied, Yes, sir. Cheng Bingxi waved her hand, imprisoning it in the Mangyeon-based city dungeon, restricting its freedom. With its mind imprinted, there's no need to worry about this magical beast rebelling, but it's only a temporary servant, it must be killed after its use. It's not qualified to be Cheng Bingxi's servant. Cheng Bingxi said, we must discuss this matter with Xiao Ye and inform the other beast girls so they can prepare in advance. Empress of Time, what is the strength of the demon race within the Void Saint clan? The Empress of Time pondered, within the Void Saint clan's territory, both void beings, humans and demons, coexist. The Void Saint clan is a third-rate power in the universe. Their highest realm is the perfected Star River realm. Hundreds of thousands of years ago it was the perfected Star River realm, now it may have broken through to the Star Sea realm. Above the Dominator realm is the Star River realm, and above the Star River realm is the Star Sea realm. The Star Sea realm is also known as the Small Universe realm. Once you enter the Star Sea realm, you are qualified to roam freely throughout the universe. They are truly cosmic masters. As for above the Star Sea realm, that's the universe level. The patriarchs of major cosmic powers are generally at this level, able to roam freely throughout the universe. Cheng Bingxi nodded, indicating she understood. Then, she sensed Xiao Ye's aura and discovered he wasn't on Blue Star. Cheng Bingxi opened a golden portal, leading Nangguang Xiao and the Empress of Time inside. Sure enough, Xiao Ye's presence was sensed in a villa near the main hall of the Time-Space Palace. Cheng Bingxi, Nangguang Xiao, and the Time Empress arrived at the villa's first-floor living room. They were surprised to hear a soft, whistling lullaby coming from the bedroom. The Time Empress's expression was strange. The Empress had come to find Xiao Ye, only to find him with another woman. Nangguang Xiao asked curiously, whose voice is that? King Su or Liu Yak? The Time Empress shook her head. It shouldn't be King Su. My voice sounds very similar to hers, I can tell it's not her. Nangguang Xiao was puzzled. Then who is it? The Primordial Empress? The Time Empress said, possibly. But then, Cheng Bingxi denied it, it's not Li Yang, nor the Primordial Empress. It's Huangfu Xiangling. Her tone was very firm. Nangguang Xiao and the Time Empress were astonished. How could she tell that? Cheng Bingxi laughed. I know every beast girl's information, including the personality, daily routine, habits, and hobbies. What techniques they like to use during exercise, how long they can last, what their cries are like. I know it all perfectly well. Nangguang Xiao was stunned, thinking Cheng Bingxi was a pervert, and exclaimed, Wow, Sister Bingxi, you're so perverted. You need to know all these things clearly? Do you know my cries, what techniques I like, and how long I can last? Cheng Bingxi nodded. That's right. Nangguang Xiao's hair stood on end. This Sister Bingxi is sick now. Managing a large family doesn't require such detailed knowledge. The Time Empress looked at Cheng Bingxi with awe, increasingly feeling that this big sister was incredibly powerful, with a very meticulous mind and unimaginable methods. Nangguang Xiao said angrily, Bingxi, did you eavesdrop when Xiao Ye and I were exercising? Cheng Bingxi asked in surprise, what did I eavesdrop on? You were moaning so loudly. Nangguang Xiao blushed and said shyly and angrily, HMPH, it felt good, so what's wrong with moaning a few times? I can hear your moans too, Bingxi. Cheng Bingxi. It seems I can't moan loudly anymore, I have to hold back. An hour passed. The three of them finally waited until Xiao Ye and Huangfu Xiangling came out of the bedroom. Huangfu Xiangling was walking with her arms around the wall, while Xiao Ye walked steadily, full of energy, head held high, looking like he had returned victorious. But when he saw Cheng Bingxi looking at him strangely in the living room, his expression changed, and he hurriedly said, Bingxi, why did you come? You didn't even tell me. Otherwise, I would have run out right away. Chapter 673 Beast Girls Gather Together. Cheng Bingxi rolled her eyes and said sweetly, Are you kidding me? Xiangling has needs too, and they must be met. How could I just call you out and interrupt Xiangling's satisfaction? Would Xiangling hate me? Huangfu Xiangling said sweetly, Big sister, if it's something very important, I won't mind if you interrupted me just now. I know you didn't come here for no reason. Something big must have happened. Xiao Ye's expression became serious. Something big? Has a new wild beast appeared in the desolate realm? Cheng Bingxi shook her head. It's not the desolate realm, it's our blue star. It's about to be invaded by the demons of the Void Saint Clan's star field. We need to gather all the beast girls here to cultivate and level up. The Dominator realm level is not enough to resist the invasion of the Void Saint Clan's demons. The Time Empress echoed, Big sister is right. We need at least the Star River realm level to resist those demons. Xiao Ye nodded and immediately used the Time and Space Hall's authority to send a message to all the beast girls outside. Let them return to the Hall of Time and Space to cultivate. 10 minutes later, in the inner sanctum of the Grand Hall, all the beast girls gathered. When they saw the Time Empress, they were somewhat surprised. Who is this? It's not King Su, yet she looks so much like King Su. This person has the aura of a god, but upon closer inspection, she is not a god. This is the Time Empress. Liu Ye and Qin Zhe were seeing the Time Empress for the first time. Yun Bing, Yun Zai, Ziran, Gu Qingcheng, and the God of Destiny, however, had seen the Time Empress before and knew of her existence. The women glared at Xiao Ye, angrily saying, Xiao Ye, how come you've taken in another new deity? Yes, and such a beautiful one at that. King Su is still here, are you looking for a substitute for her? Husband, you're not being honest, you've even taken in the Time Empress. Xiao Ye was somewhat embarrassed. Ahem, wives, please listen to me, I didn't cheat, really. The women couldn't believe him, glaring at him with eyes as sharp as knives. If you didn't cheat, then why is this person here? Humph. HMPH, if you have needs, just come to us. Why did you need a new woman? You're just fickle, you've got tired of us. Why, you heartless bastard, you scumbag. Xiao Ye was on the verge of tears, he really hadn't cheated. The Time Empress stepped forward and said, Hello, sisters. My presence here is an accident. The human emperor didn't approach me, nor did he cheat on me. I was approached by the Dean Tract as matchmaker, wanting me to marry the human emperor. The beast girls were astonished. The Dean acting as matchmaker? Xiao Ye's grandfather? Xiao Ye laughed, that's right, this is the woman the old man forced me to marry. I was forced into this relationship with the Time Empress. That old scoundrel is wicked, with malicious intentions, actually trying to make me marry several wives. The beast girls sighed. It's grandpa acting as matchmaker, then it's alright. Grandpa raised Xiao Ye with great difficulty. He probably wants a grandson, so he wants Xiao Ye to marry several wives. Should we give Grandpa a grandson or granddaughter soon? Cheng Bingxi stood up, silencing the women. Grandpa is the embodiment of the great will of this universe, not an ordinary old man. Grandpa's insistence that Xiao Ye marry more wives might not be for the sake of having a granddaughter. He might have other motives. Everyone should be mentally prepared. Xiao Ye may be carrying an unknown mission, requiring him to marry many wives. We won't deliberately resist anymore. Huh? Many beast girls panicked upon hearing this. Big sister, are we really not going to resist anymore? Xiao Ye having more wives is disadvantageous for us. That's right, what exactly does Grandpa want? Cheng Bingxi said helplessly, I don't know what Grandpa wants either. We don't need to speculate about Grandpa's motives. If any of you have any needs, just go to Xiao Ye. He will fulfill them. As for new gods or beast girls, we only need to examine their personalities, habits, hobbies, etc., to see if they are suitable. We don't need to resist anymore. Many beast girls looked sorrowful. Their big sister was actually leading the way and saying they wouldn't resist anymore. So, they just let Xiao Ye keep marrying new wives? Xiao Ye glanced at them and tentatively suggested, how about I create clones? One for each of the beast girls, how about that? He actually didn't want clones, it was like betraying himself. But with so many beast girls, he couldn't keep up with them all, so it was a last resort. The beast girls were furious. No way. I need you in person. I won't touch clones. I don't like clones either. Xiao Ye, if you send clones to fob me off, I'll just kill them all. They unanimously disliked clones. Xiao Ye replied, then I won't create clones. Just come to me if you need anything, or if you want company, just come to me directly. I don't need to cultivate, I'll just wait for a feedback. I have plenty of time. Once you reach the sovereign realm, each cultivation session will take tens of thousands of years. I can manage. Hearing this, the beast girls felt slightly relieved. They remembered their last cultivation session in the time-space hall. Xiao Ye had also spent time with them every now and then, never neglecting any of the beast girls. Thinking this way, the many beast girls were completely at ease. What did it matter how many beast girls there were, as long as Xiao Ye was willing to be with them? Gu Qingcheng and the goddess of destiny were the first to agree, saying, Big sister, we won't object to Xiao Ye taking in new gods or beast girls, but we can help with examining the new god's character. If the new god's character is not upright and she's not suitable to be with her husband, we'll fight tooth and nail to prevent her from being with him. With Gu Qingcheng and the goddess of destiny leading the way, the other beast girls chimed in. Yes, we must establish a set of standards. If a new god or beast girl doesn't meet the standards, then we absolutely cannot accept her. Yes, we can take turns examining the new gods and beast girls. Only after passing the test can Xiao Ye marry her. Cheng Bingxi nodded. When we have time, we'll discuss the standards for Xiao Ye's new wife together. Right now, our blue star is facing a crisis, we must cultivate first. Target, Star River Realm. Another crisis? The many beast girls abandoned their playful thoughts and became serious. The time god stood up and said, this time, our crisis comes from the demons of the Void Saint Clan's star field. The Demon King's realm is at least a great perfection of the Star River realm at the 10th level, or even a powerful being of the Star Sea realm. We must possess the strength of the Star River realm to have any power to resist. Cheng Bingxi said, according to the Demon Soul. The Demon King's strength is most likely still at the great perfection of the Star River realm. We don't need to be too hasty, we can just focus on our cultivation. Xiao Ye waved his hand and said, alright, everyone, let's set off to find the original source of the Star River realm's rules and absorb its power to cultivate. Hearing this, the many beast girls scattered, filled with fighting spirit, and left the super hall. As for Xiao Ye, he needed to go and accompany these beast girls. Chapter 674 Jiang Zunan is about to become a Yandir. All the beast girls were out, leaving the main hall deserted. A small head peeked out from the doorway. It was Jiang Zunan, the human form of the starry sky beast. Xiao Ye asked in confusion, aren't you going to cultivate? Jiang Zunan's face was filled with sorrow, tears welling up in her eyes. My lord hasn't come to see me in so long, I miss you. I've spent these days cultivating, and now my realm is already at the 6th level of the Star River realm. The two mistresses have things to do on Blue Star, so they also make me cultivate. It's so lonely. Xiao Ye was astonished. Jiang Zunan had actually reached the 6th level of the Star River realm. This realm far surpassed all the beast girls. Even Mu Qingsu, with a time attribute, was only at the 10th level of the Dominator realm. Seeing that he didn't comfort her, Jiang Zunan's eyes immediately reddened, and 2 lines of tears streamed down her cheeks. She said pitifully, "My lord, my cultivation level was built up over a long period of time, it wasn't achieved overnight. Over 1,000,000 years." A sense of desolation permeated her being. Although her cultivation was powerful, her heart was incredibly fragile at this moment, like a child desperately needing the care and love of family. Xiao Ye's expression softened. He reached out and patted her head, smiling, "If you miss us, just come find us. You have 2 mistresses, and I'm your lord. Just follow us." Jiang Zunan nuzzled Xiao Ye with a contented look, her eyes crinkling. "My lord, I love you so much. Actually, what I want isn't the company of mistresses and lord, but my lord's comfort. I also want to be like those beast girls, my lord's wife." Xiao Ye was taken aback. No wonder Jiang Zunan didn't go to Gu Qingcheng and the God of Destiny, but came directly to him. This was troublesome. Jiang Zunu's true form is a cosmic behemoth, her human form isn't her true essence. The emotions of a cosmic behemoth are different from those of a human. Xiao Ye, being human, had no idea how to satisfy a cosmic behemoth's emotional needs. Exercise? That was merely a primal desire. Emotional needs were different. "Then what should I do?" he asked. "So you won't feel lonely." Jiang Zunu exclaimed in surprise, "My lord, you're willing to keep me company?" Xiao Ye nodded, "Of course." Jiang Zunu tilted her head, counting on her fingers. "I want my lord to talk to me, cultivate with me, fight with me, and exercise with me." "My lord, isn't that too much trouble?" Xiao Ye shook his head. "No, this is just the daily routine of keeping a pet company. Chatting, cultivating, fighting, exercising. It's just that you, as a pet, are a cosmic behemoth with a human form." Jiang Zunu was overjoyed, her heart leaping with excitement. Pulling Xiao Ye to a villa not far away, she pointed to the photos covering the living room wall and laughed. "My lord, these walls are covered with photos of you, your mistress, and Xiao Nanan. I've recorded them all." Xiao Ye looked at the wall, completely covered in photos, somewhat astonished. There were tens of thousands of photos. Some were from aquamarine, some from space, but most were from aquamarine. More than half of these photos were of him, Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye looked at each one, then suddenly his lips twitched, pointing to a photo and saying, "Wait, Jiang Zunan, how did you take a picture of me peeing? You took it secretly." The photo only showed his back, but he could vaguely make out the action of him urinating. Jiang Zunan shrank back, forcing a sheepish smile. "Hey, actually, I often come to Mangyumbei City to see my lord when I'm not cultivating. This is the latest photo. I wanted to record what my lord was doing, but I saw him doing this. In my haste, I only managed to take this one." Xiao Ye sighed. "Okay, it's just a back view, fine. There are so many photos in the living room, what about the bedroom?" he asked. Jiang Zunan panicked instantly, waving her hands. "No. There are absolutely no private photos of my lord in the bedroom, please don't look." "Xiao Ye? This is a classic case of protesting too much. Jiang Zunan even posted his private photos in the bedroom? How private?" He pretended to be calm and smiled. "Okay, I won't look. I believe you." Jiang Zunan patted her chest. "That was close, really close. If my lord saw those photos in the bedroom, he would definitely be angry." Xiao Ye released his divine sense and probed into the bedroom. The walls of the bedroom were indeed covered with photos. Those photos were all of Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye was shocked. Damn, they had all sorts of photos, even very private ones. How private? There were even photos of him showering. All of them were upper body photos, revealing his 8-pack abs and well-defined muscles. There were no lower body photos, not a single one showing anything. There were photos of him sleeping in his pajamas, photos of him eating, photos of him picking his nose, photos of him picking his toes, photos of him scratching an itchy back, photos of him with an embarrassed expression, photos of him blushing. There were tens of thousands of photos in total. All of them were private photos of his daily life. Xiao Ye's face turned pale and then purple. Jiang Zunan noticed his divine sense and suddenly covered her face with her hands, exclaiming, "Ah! My lord, I really didn't mean to take these photos. I just couldn't stop thinking about you, I just started thinking about you without realizing it, and I wanted to see what you were like in your daily life and record it. Xiao Ye sighed. This girl must be sick. What caused her to become so obsessive, taking so many photos without his knowledge? This girl was a powerful being at the Star River realm, far surpassing him in cultivation. She had only signed a master servant's contract with Gu Qingchen, not with Xiao Ye, so he couldn't detect her taking the photos. Although the person taking the photos was a maid, the thought of someone secretly spying on him still sent chills down Xiao Ye's spine. His voice turned stern as he rebuked her. Zhang Zunan, what is your motive for taking so many photos? Zhang Zunan panicked instantly, her face flushed with anxiety. She stammered, I want to be master's wife, but I'm not qualified. I can only satisfy my desire by secretly taking photos of master. Master, don't worry, I didn't peek when you and the sisters were exercising. I avoided them. I didn't know master liked to pee while bathing. He only took 2 minutes? Xiao Ye's lips twitched. This girl was obsessive. Her motive? She wanted to be his wife. Xiao Ye said helplessly, Zhang Zunan, don't you want to be a maid anymore? You want to be my wife? If you have needs, you can still come to me. I never considered you a servant. Zhang Zunan nodded, I want to be my lord's maid, and I also want to be my lord's wife. Isn't that too greedy? Xiao Ye pondered, I'll find a day to marry you, okay? A grand, public wedding. The kind that's all the rage. Perfect, you and the Time Empress will marry me together, you'll have a title, this morbid need should be alleviated, right? Zhang Zunan was overjoyed, yes, thank you, Lord, for being willing to marry me. She directly pulled Xiao Ye into the bedroom, frantically shouting, my lord, I'm here, armor removed. Chapter 675 The Melancholy and Sentimental Chang Bingxi. All Xiao Ye could see was pure white. A white even more extreme than the snow and ice. Not a single blemish. 2 hours later, Xiao Ye and Zhang Zunu emerged from the bathroom. Xiao Ye glanced at her and said, little girl, you've been quite wild these past few days. Are you satisfied now? Zhang Zunu blushed, satisfied, my lord. My lord, I'm going to cultivate now. Would you like to see me cultivate? Xiao Ye nodded. 1 minute later. On a precipitous cliff atop a mountain beside the Grand Hall. Clouds swirled, the air thin. Zhang Zunu, dressed in a flowing golden dress, sat cross-legged on the cliff face, taking out gems imbued with rich star power and starlight rules from her storage space and scattering them around. Instantly, star power permeated the cliff face, and starlight rules spread out. Zhang Zunu released a terrifying suction force, like a super-powerful vacuum cleaner, drawing the star power and starlight rules into her body. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, her delicate body emanated divine runes, appearing dreamlike and ethereal, like a fairy. Xiao Ye found it strange that Zhang Zunan wasn't cultivating in her true form as a star beast, but rather in human form. Shouldn't cultivation be faster in her true form? An hour later, Zhang Zunan opened her eyes, glanced at Xiao Ye not far away, her pretty face blushing, and thought to herself, why is my lord still here? Does he enjoy watching me cultivate? In front of him, I don't even want to revert to my true form, lest my lord feel uncomfortable, but cultivating in human form is really awkward, Xiao Ye said, Zhang Zunan, you can cultivate by yourself. I'm going to find the beast girl, just call me if you need anything. As long as I'm still within the time-space hall, I'll hear your call. He traversed the void and took off, flying towards a certain direction in the south. Suddenly, he looked back. To his astonishment, Zhang Zunu had transformed into her true form as a colossal star beast, a massive, black gold, flowing beast, each leg 1,000 meters long, its entire body stretching 100,000 meters and exceeding 60,000 meters in height. He shook his head. The star beast was indeed her true form, but Zhang Zunu in human form was merely a maid. He wasn't a man who judged people by their appearance. He, Xiao Ye, never cared about looks. Nor did he care about the beast girl's appearance or figure. Sensing Cheng Bingxi's nine-tailed celestial fox aura, Xiao Ye instantly teleported to a mountain range in the south. Here stood towering, majestic mountains. The path was jagged and chaotic. Cheng Bingxi was walking barefoot on sharp pebbles, following a path that shouldn't exist, deeper into the mountains. Her small, white feet sank into the sharp stones, but she seemed oblivious to the pain, her beautiful eyes calmly scanning her surroundings, constantly sensing the life and death attributes and primal energy of the surrounding environment. She was searching for the original body of the life attribute rules and the original body of the destruction attribute rules of the Star River realm. But after several hours, she had found nothing. Damn it! Cheng Bingxi exclaimed in frustration, raising her jade-like foot and kicking a boulder. The boulder flew up, carrying with it a 100-meter-long boulder buried in the soil, before crashing down with a loud thud into a dense forest 10,000 meters away, startling a flock of birds. Sigh. The original body of the Star River realm is hidden even deeper than that of the Sovereign realm. This area, within 1,000,000 kilometers, is permeated with the power of higher-level life attribute rules, but I just can't find it. What should I do? Should I ask Xiao Ye for help? Cheng Bingxi sat down on a small rock, rubbing her slightly reddened, delicate jade-like foot, her brow furrowed in worry. Asking Xiao Ye for help would surely bring him help in finding the original body of the life attribute rules of the Star River realm. But she didn't want to rely on Xiao Ye for everything. As the leader of the Beast Girl family, she set a standard for herself, to excel and outperform all the other Beast Girls in everything she did. She endured much hardship and put in tremendous effort for this. The sunk costs accumulated amidst boredom and monotony went unseen by others, and even Xiao Ye was unaware of them, but she immersed herself in them, striving to improve herself. She aimed to earn the admiration of all the Beast Girls and the recognition of her leadership role through her own abilities. Just then, a handsome young man appeared behind Cheng Bingxi, covering her eyes with his hands and saying in a suppressed voice, "Little sister, it's dangerous in the wilderness. Come with me, I'll give you cotton candy." Cheng Bingxi's face froze, and she said dejectedly, "Xiao Ye, you still came after all? But I haven't awakened my Star River realm origin body yet. Am I so stupid?" The handsome young man's lips twitched, and he plopped down next to Cheng Bingxi, a blade of grass dangling from his mouth, saying, "Bingxi, aren't you afraid I'm a savage? Life has already been born in the Time-Space Palace's super world. Be careful, you'll attract the attention of savages if you go barefoot like that." Cheng Bingxi pouted, placed her jade-like feet on Xiao Ye's lap, and said, "What savage? I'm a 5th-level Sovereign Realm expert, I'll kill one if one comes. Still barefoot? I think you're just greedy. Here, show off to me." Xiao Ye waved his hand, No need to show off, let me rub your feet. Where are your shoes?" He grabbed her jade-like feet and started rubbing them vigorously. Cheng Bingxi shook her head, "In the Time-Space Palace, I like to walk barefoot." "Xiao Ye, weren't you a foot fetishist before? Why aren't you interested in jade-like feet anymore? You're not even tempted anymore." Xiao Ye was embarrassed and said speechlessly, "Tempted? Bingxi, you think too dirty of me. I've never been tempted. As for fetishism, as long as they're pretty, what man wouldn't like them?" Cheng Bingxi snorted and stood up. "I still need to find my original body. What are you doing here? You don't just want to rub my feet, do you?" Xiao Ye waved his hand and directly used his Time-Space Palace authority to move the original body of the life attribute rules from 100,000 meters away, and also moved the original body of the destruction attribute rules of the Star River realm from 1 light-year away. The 2 original bodies hadn't been awakened yet, but they were pulled out of the space, breaking the concealment effect. Cheng Bingxi sighed and said softly, "Compared to you, I'm really far inferior. Do I really deserve to be your first wife? Xiao Ye?" He slapped Cheng Bingxi's bottom hard and said irritably, "What do you mean by far inferior? Why are you thinking about these things? So sentimental. You're my childhood sweetheart, my first wife, because you're Cheng Bingxi. That's enough." Cheng Bingxi said sadly, "But I'm still far inferior to you, I can't stand on the same level as you anymore." Hearing this, Xiao Ye's face darkened, and he looked at Cheng Bingxi with a serious expression. Have these Beast Girls suffered some kind of trauma? They all seem to have become sickly. Jiang Zunu is showing signs of becoming a yandir. Cheng Bingxi, on the other hand, has become like a sheltered young woman, sentimental and melancholic, her brows constantly furrowed. Have you encountered something? Xiao Ye asked seriously. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all, see you in the next video.